The masses are going to go through every ailment there is. You can't be worrying about that, because if we can keep worrying about the trouble that the masses are in, we never cultivate anything among ourselves to get to the high level in which the masses going to be a part of. Because ultimately, all this shit got to be destroyed. This shit is over.
I am inevitable.
Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push the button.
Push the goddamn button.
Push the goddamn button.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're live back again for another
Live.
Yes, indeed. We are live again for another informational live stream. Please make sure y'all come in and double tap the screen, hit the like button on this video, because we got to get into it. We got to get into it, man. So we got more bullshit in the media regarding Trump and Iran, Israel and Iran. Yeah, and there's a lot more things coming to the surface ever since this thing has been kicked off. And we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. Shout out to y'all that's just tuning in. I'm going to share this real quick on X. And real quick.
Make sure y'all smash that like button if y'all haven't already.
Definitely appreciate y'all tuning in.
Please do.
So we got Mr. Donald Trump here. He's live right now with the press conference. We're going to get into it because, you know, he's on some shit. Pretty sure everybody's seen what he posted on, what's the name of his website again? What is it called? Truth something. But we're going to get into it.
False something.
False something. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. So this is CBS addressing it. So we're going to get into it real quick before we get into the commentary on the press conference.
We start with the President Trump's his explicit threat against Iran. He now says to make a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz or he'll blow up the whole country. Now, this follows a similar ultimatum back in March, which he later postponed.
And we're also learning more about the daring mission to rescue the crew of a downed U.S. fighter jet in Iran. The details are harrowing, and we'll have more on that in just a moment. But we want to begin with Nancy Cordes at the White House on these new threats by the president. Nancy, good morning.
Good morning. President Trump has set a new deadline of 8 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow night for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and allow oil tankers to pass through once again. If that doesn't happen, he is warning that, quote, hell will rain down, one in a series of threats he made over the weekend. As his deadline ticks closer, President Trump raised the stakes Sunday, warning Iran, if no deal happens, we're blowing up the whole country.
That's great.
To emphasize his point, the president posted video of this nighttime strike on Tehran and threatened to take down every power plant and bridge in the country. Trump also posted this profane Easter morning ultimatum, quote, open the expletive strait.
Yeah, look, open the effing strait, you crazy bastards. He said, you'll be living in hell. And then guess what guess what the next line was after that? All praises to Allah. That man is losing his mind over there at that White House. You know he's up in age.
Is that even him?
Yeah, it's him.
Is that even him at this point?
Him. Yeah, it's him. He tweets his own tweets, bro.
Or somebody replaced his ass.
Nah, it's Trump, bro. But you gotta understand, because it ties into what I'm going to pull up about what Yahoo said. Trump is right under his thumb, bro. Like he got Trump doing all his bidding. Like I ain't never seen Trump pull out a chair for somebody and push the chair in for him and all that shit. Yeah, he's waiting on hand and foot for Netanyahu, bro.
But why would he say praise to Allah though?
Yeah, because he's being smart. Because he's being smart.
Or you'll be living in hell. Iran's parliament speaker called the threats reckless, adding, you won't gain anything through war crimes.
Yeah, pull up what he actually
said. A former
said.
head of U.S. Central Command told Face the Nation the Iranians should take Trump seriously.
The Iranians would be very well served to listen to President Trump when he says he's going to hit him, because he's proven that he's willing to do that.
The president insisted his top negotiators, Stephen Witkoff and Jared Kushner, are having productive talks with Iran, and claimed there's a good chance they can make a deal. According to multiple reports, both sides have received a proposal from regional countries that would implement a 45-day ceasefire and immediately reopen the Strait of Hormuz. But it's still unclear if the U.S. and Iran would agree to it. And some lawmakers argue Iran is unlikely to relinquish its stranglehold on the Strait of Hormuz, as rising gas prices give the Iranians leverage.
Iran recognizes that, in fact, their control over the strait is even more strategically vital to them than the development of a nuclear weapon.
Trump is also...
Let's get into what exactly he said. Let me pull this up. All right, this is what he exactly
also get into
said.
the fact.
Oh yeah, what you say?
This is also the fact that they're using this intentionally to bankrupt America.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that
out there first. Yep.
Right. So Tuesday, he said, when this is on True Social, he said Tuesday will be a power plant day, and bridge day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the effing strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. President Donald J. Trump. This nigga had nerve to say praise all be to Allah. He's crazy for that. He crazy for that one, bro.
Nah, the reason now I know why he's saying that. He's saying that because he liked the fact that Iran is doing this. Because right. The truth is, Israel is really against American citizens. They own the government, and they want to actually put us in a poorhouse. That's what this is really about. Let's be real about this. So they knew exactly how Iran would respond if they did what they did, and they knew exactly how it would affect Americans. They knew exactly how, because you got to think about it. Trump and his family ain't gonna get affected by this at all. They already extremely wealthy. Majority of those politicians are not going to get affected by this because they
came in making one. Yeah, he came in making $1.7 billion.
Right,
just
and then scamming with the crypto shit too.
Right,
let's not forget that.
Yo, make sure y'all double tap the screen like this video, please. If you're just tuning in, matter of fact, let me go ahead and post that up on here because we got to get into what this video I just pulled up. Got to get into what this said, but we need y'all to hit the like on this video, get this information out there. All right.
I really want people to understand that this is really a covert war against American citizens. They hate the fact that a country like America existed in the first place. That's the thing. They hate the fact that each individual state is supposed to be separate from the government, the federal government, the District of Columbia. They hate that. So their whole plan was from the get-go, and this is like decades old plan, was to break United States down into pieces. Like that's what all this is about. And how they going to do that? They're going to bankrupt that. They already got us at $40 trillion in debt. They're going to bankrupt all this shit. It's going to be to the point, we already headed there, but it's going to be to the point where you go get a loaf of bread and a dozen of eggs and some milk, and that shit is going to cost $350. We're already headed there, and that's what they want.
So let's get it. Let's tie into this because
it ties into this.
Yeah, I wanted to get into this before we move further with what their plan is. But this is like the ultimate plan right here.
This is word.
Let me know if y'all can hear.
For word, verbatim, from the Jerusalem Post by Benjamin Netanyahu in 1990. If we get caught, they will just replace us with a person from the same cloth. So it doesn't matter what you do. America is a golden calf, and we will suck it dry, chop it up, and sell it off piece by piece until there is nothing left but the world's biggest welfare state that we create and control. Why? Because it's God's will. And America is big enough to take the hit, so we can do it again and again and again. This is what we do to the countries that we hate. We destroy them very slowly, but we make them suffer for refusing to be our slaves.
This is who our government is saying is our greatest ally. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, Are you okay being a cash cow? Are you okay just being a resource for another country? Are you okay with being used as a tool? That's exactly what Benjamin think you are. And for anybody who can read this or hear this and say, hey, no, that's not the case, you're blind, you're deaf and dumb.
This is word for word, verbatim, from the Jerusalem Post by Benjamin Netanyahu in 1990. If we get caught, they will just replace us with a person from the same cloth. So it doesn't matter what you do. America is a golden calf, and we will suck it dry, chop it up, and sell it off piece by piece until there is nothing left but the world's biggest welfare state that we create and control. Why? Because it's God's will. And America is big enough to take the hit, so we can do it again and again and again. This is what we do to the countries that we hate. We destroy them very slowly, but we make them suffer for refusing to be our slaves.
This is who our government is.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's what they want to do. They want to break America up, divide it, and sell it off to the highest bidder, which is the central banks anyway. Central banks already, got control of this shit anyway.
Well, yeah, the same people who own the central banks are the same people who created the state of Israel in 1948. We already made that clear on our last live stream if y'all been following us. Now, y'all have to realize something. This is bigger than just Trump. Every president that went through that Oval Office supported Israel. All of them. Biden sent money to Israel. Biden sent billions to Israel. Obama sent billions to Israel. Fucking Bush. It don't matter. All of them. Bush. All of them supported Israel. All the presidents. I think it was like one president who didn't support Israel, and it might have been JFK.
Yeah.
But all of them supported Israel, y'all. All of them been giving money to Israel to the point where the people in Israel is living luxurious. They got free health care. They living good, and the only problems that they have in Israel is the problems that they government commit to make it look like Palestine is doing it. They bind themselves up and make it look like Palestine is behind it. Make it look like Hamas is behind it. But if you actually do some real research, you'll find out Hamas is really owned by Israel also. Because they create the terrorists so they can't create the problems so they could come with the solutions. By using Trump, the puppet Trump, who's one of the biggest puppets for Israel we've ever seen, using him to go into Iran, they knew they would close that strait, and then we would be hit with all these big ass oil prices and gas prices at the pump, and that's going to be detrimental to our economy, y'all. We're done. Like we already started seeing inflation before that. We see, shit that used to cost $8 is like $15 now. That's going to quadruple. That's going to quadruple because once the gas prices go up, it's going to take more money to transport food. And unfortunately, a lot of us, we all shop at fucking grocery stores and the big chains and all that stuff is imported in. A lot of us don't shop locally enough for it not to buy. So everything we get is fucking imported in here, and it have to travel. That means it needs to use gas. That means it needs oil. We're done, y'all. Like this was the plan from the get-go. We already at $40 trillion in debt. I have a feeling by the end of next year, that shit is probably going to go up at least 20 to 30 more %. And then basically our money ain't gonna be worth shit nowhere. And I don't know if y'all understand what that means for us. That means if we still following this system, we are completely done at this point. We ain't gonna be nobody's gonna be able to afford to live anywhere.
Yeah, it's like that now. It's getting like that now. You're starting to see more tent cities all around America in different states. Like you starting to see like poor sections in towns that you never seen before. Like small suburban towns even have sections where homeless is at. So yeah, we're starting to see, and that's why they wanted to bring in the military on the streets, because they know what type of revolution that's going to set off on this soil that when this economy bankrupts completely and people lose everything. They know what comes behind that. So that's why they trying to set up all this military on the streets and all that shit. So I wanted to get into this video because this video been floating around a lot. And Iran came out and said that America is bombing their own soldiers.
Yep.
Basically to make it look like Iran did it. And that's the shit they do. Just like Hitler bombed the parliament over there in Germany to make it look like the Jews did it. And then that was his excuse to go, run rampant through, Europe and shit. Let's get into
or check. Hold on, real quick. You forgot one important example. Or when our own country basically bought down the Twin Towers so they can invade Iraq, Afghanistan.
Right. Inside, yeah. And on top of that, COVID and all that shit as well. But yeah,
fact.
A lot of that should be inside job. Let's get into this real quick. Let me know if y'all can hear it.
Name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, we have granted you a clear victory. Following the laughable attempts by America's terrorist army to conduct search and rescue operations for their downed fighter pilot, several enemy aircraft entered our beloved nation of Iran on the morning of April 16th, 1405. By God's grace and with the vigilance and readiness of Islam's warriors in our armed forces, using electronic warfare, advanced air defense systems, a ground-based mosaic defense strategy, and establishing a military and security perimeter, several of these aircraft, including 2 C-130 military transport planes and 2 Black Hawk helicopters, were struck and forced to make emergency landings in an area south of Isfahan. After our heroic Iranian warriors completed the siege of the enemy, the humiliated foe was forced to heavily bomb their own downed aircraft, equipment, commanders, and soldiers to prevent the disgrace of President Trump and the hollow facade of their army. The ignorant president, trapped in the war and aggression he started, and the incompetent, cowardly generals of America's terrorist defeated army have clearly understood that any aggression, ground operation, or infiltration at any point in Iran will be met with decisive and humiliating defeat by the power of divine soldiers. The iron fists of our warriors and armed forces, the heroic Basij, and the brave and courageous nation of this land. The disgrace of the trapped president and America's defeated army cannot be repaired through word games, media warfare, and psychological operations. There is no doubt that all these victories and proud achievements of Iran have been under the special grace and favor of Almighty God, and we are certain that the divine promise will be fulfilled in the final victory of truth over falsehood. And victory comes only from Allah, the Almighty, the All-Wise. In the name of...
Yeah, even Trump said, praise be to Allah. Open the effing Strait, you effing bastards. Praises be to Allah. After all that, he was like Mike Tyson and shit. Yeah, he must have been watching Mike Tyson video. I eat your children. All praise to Allah. Trump was up there watching Mike Tyson video and shit.
And I just want y'all to know, Trump is not really mad that they closed the strait. He don't give a fuck.
Hell no.
Actually, he likes the fact that they're doing it. He's acting like he don't, but that's their plan. They knew that attacking Iran would trigger this. They know exactly. They got the chess moves down. They want to bring America down to its knees.
Yes, and this is the reason why. Yeah, well, go ahead, bro. Finish your point.
No, go ahead, because I'm pretty sure this is cover it.
Because people are blinded by the fact they don't know what's going on with the crypto system, right? They don't know that the House already passed the Clarity Act. They're waiting on the Senate to pass the Clarity Act on the cryptocurrency, and their deadline is by June. They got a deadline by June. They trying to get it wrapped up in April and whatever in May, but the cutoff deadline is June. So a lot of people don't know what's going on the back end when it comes to the new financial system. They're paying attention to a lot of this surface shit that's a distraction. So that's what this all is really about. The next the next financial system, the cryptocurrency, the blockchain. That's all this shit is about. Them setting up the infrastructure for the next financial system. Because that debt we have, that $40 trillion in debt, they gotta put that shit on the blockchain. They have to. That no way in the world we can even financially pay that shit back with with dollars. That's impossible. So they have to put this shit on the blockchain. So that's all this shit is about. All this extra shit they got, that's just all theater for us. But the real shit the real moves they making behind the scene right now has everything to do with setting up this cryptocurrency, this new digital technology they got going on. That's all this shit is about. So let's get into this, because this guy makes a very good point of what they're trying to do as far as, like, you know, signing in the Clarity Act. That, remember, the House already passed the Clarity Act. GNSAC's already been passed. That's about the stable coins. They already, you know, passed the Genius Act. Now they're trying to pass the Clarity Act. And they're going to pass it because both Democrats and Republicans want this shit. And I'm not talking about the people. I'm talking about the people that they have in place, the people that they lobby in place. They don't give a fuck about us. Let's just clear that out right now. Nobody in the House Representatives or the Senate give a fuck about the American people. Let's get that out the way right now. This shit is all about putting these corporations and keeping these corporations on top. That's all it's about. So let's get into this real quick. Let me restart this shit.
Do you really believe that we're going to have resolution in 48 hours after all of this?
I'm very confident we're going to see progress. And the reason for that is we need to finish the job. It's true, the Genius Act passed last year was a watershed moment for crypto and for the crypto economy. For the first time, we had sensible rules in place that govern this important part of crypto. However, it's important that we provide a full market structure into which the crypto legislation from last year can fit. And that's what Clarity fundamentally provides. I do think that it's important that we finish the job, in particular on deciding which tokens, which crypto projects really should fall to the jurisdiction of the SEC on the one hand, and which really are better served by oversight over at the CFTC. I think Chairman Scott deserves a lot of credit. He has certainly been persistent, even patient, as we've worked through a lot of these issues. I think that with all the progress that we made over the last several months, it's exciting to see that we're moving towards a markup hearing in the Senate Banking Committee, hopefully as soon as in the next few weeks, and ultimately a floor vote and passage of the bill with a signature by the president to follow.
Do you really believe that we're going to have resolution in 48 hours after all of this?
That's all this shit is about, all right? All the shit you seeing with the war and all this retarded shit you seeing with Trump and he standing up there, and this shit is the moves they making behind the scene while they got y'all looking left. These motherfuckers is making it's the whole zigzag thing. They got us paying attention to all this shit and don't have us paying attention to what's happening with the new financial system. That's all this shit is about. They gotta collect
bigger than
shit.
Trump, y'all.
Fact.
I know. Now, of course, Trump is with them. He's behind, but y'all gotta understand this is bigger than Trump. It don't matter who we voted for. Anybody who went into that Oval Office is going with this plan. Like, it don't matter who it is. We could have voted a Democrat in there. We could have voted a Republican there. We could have voted someone from the Independent Party in there. That shit wouldn't matter. Anybody who goes into that Oval Office, anybody who's in the Senate, anybody who's in Congress is down with this plan. Because what this plan is going to do, once they get everything on the blockchain, once everything goes digital, they will be able to track and trace and basically do whatever they want to us if everything is digital. Once they get that digital once they get that digital ID in place and we go cashless and everything, all of our assets, all of our information is stored in that blockchain for the government to be able to see, that's when they're going to implement the super welfare state. That's why they getting rid of that's why most of the jobs, they getting rid of most of the jobs. They're going to automate most of the jobs. Their plan is to turn specifically the United States into a big ass welfare state. That's why they disrupting anybody who's trying to start a business. They basically disrupting that. Anybody who's trying to do anything independently of the government or the major corporations, they are smashing you. That is, and that's what they want. Everybody in this system tracked, chipped, and traced so they can control us. That's literally what's going on.
Right.
That's literally what's going on. And we already getting glimpses. We already getting a glimpse of that, of how they got it. How just follow how look how social media is. If you're a content creator or if you're on social media, look how that's controlled. If you say or do anything they don't
you
like,
say the wrong thing, yeah, they're gonna basically demonetize you, terminate your channel, or terminate you off all social media platforms.
Or put you on punishment to where you can't post nothing or you can't go live or anything like that. Now they transferring everything to that. Like everything is going to be connected to your social media profile, which it almost is. Employers right now is judging whether they want to hire people based on how your Facebook look.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now,
or
that's
living
already
situation, or living situation. You can't live in certain communities if they, they always judge you by either your credit score, of course. That's always, what they look up, criminal background. But now they're looking up your social media. They're looking at everything you post on social media based on whether they want to rent to you or, that's just how it go. But the fact of the matter is they set up the social credit scores. The social credits, it's going to be linked to social media. Your financial is going to be linked to your social media. So anything you say on social media, whether it's against the government or certain things you say, because they already set us up like with that now. Like you say anything on YouTube, if you're a monetized channel, you say anything that goes against YouTube guidelines, guess what they do? They demonetize you or they terminate your channel. Same thing with Facebook.
And YouTube guidelines is starting to look like government guidelines.
Because that's the new digital, basically the new digital, I would say like the whole new constitution. Basically, the new digital constitution is hidden under social media guidelines. And the thing is, that's what we saying. You can have freedom of speech, right? Because that's our First Amendment right to have freedom of speech, right? But you can't say anything on social media, though. You see the difference? Like that's the whole separate constitution. Like you could have freedom of speech and not go to jail for some shit you said on social media, but you can get terminated off social media for saying the shit that you won't go to jail for. So that's what we saying. A lot of this shit is being hidden under social media guidelines because you pushing everybody online. That's where everybody gonna be financially, dwelling at is online. Spending everything is linked to apps. Everything is linked to apps. Everything financially is linked to apps.
They're consolidating everything together to the point where we do everything online. We pay our bills through an app. We do our banking through an app. Yeah, everything you do is through an app now, and the app can be turned off with one button.
Yeah.
You get what we're saying? Like they can literally block you out of everything. That's their plan. They're actually they're actually succeeding in this because majority of people now, especially in like countries like the United States, so-called developed countries, we're all using these apps for everything. We're using these apps for everything, so they can easily track our movements everywhere, everything we're doing, everything we spend our money on, everything that we're saying, everything. There's no more privacy and nothing anymore. So all they gotta do is tweak the laws a little bit to the point where they can act on what they hear you say or what they see you say on social media, and that'll give them the right to basically block you out of going shopping, banking. If you want to call up you won't be able to call up a Uber. You won't be able to do shit anymore. That's basically what their plan is. And we got a glimpse of we got a glimpse of that during COVID time when they shut everything down.
We damn sure did.
It's
and
like
that was a whole beta test right there with COVID. Right. That was the beta test. Not only to basically depopulate people, because it did depopulate a lot of people with them doing that COVID shit. It did depopulate a lot of people. So that ties into depopulation, the whole shit that Bill Gates and was over there talking about on TED Talk. We pretty much got to get these numbers down to zero. Remember that whole TED Talk shit?
Yep.
They just struck our channel for playing that shit. I'm like, it's on YouTube already. Why would the fuck you strike our channel for YouTube guidelines when that shit is on YouTube? It don't make no sense. But see, they don't like you talking about that shit in a certain context. But we don't give a fuck because we sponsor our own We sponsor our own live streams with our own products that we sell, our own natural products. So we don't give a shit about that. We said what we said. He was on TED Talk talking about we pretty much got to get all these numbers down to zero, and humans was on there.
Right.
The carbon shit, humans. It was like 5 different things on there. He said we pretty much got to get these numbers down, and he said how we could do that. We could do that through, vaccines.
Right.
And this was before COVID. That TED Talk shit was like 10, 15 years before COVID. So we already know what their plans is. First of all, a lot of y'all that been tapped in since the early 2000s, probably after 9/11 happened, that sent a lot of people down a wormhole, down a rabbit hole and shit. Everybody was waking up and was like, something's not right about this shit that's going on. Because they signed the Patriot Act like the very next day after 9/11 happened. And people was wondering, like, what's the Patriot Act? What's the Patriot Act? Because nobody really wasn't paying attention to what the Patriot Act was. Then when people woke up and realized what the Patriot Act was, they was like, oh, these motherfuckers want to basically spy on us. They want to bring cameras into our home. They want us to basically have cameras on and watching us, and they want to be able to tap into our emails and do whatever the fuck they want to do with us. That's what the whole Patriot Act shit was about. So that sent a lot of people down the rabbit hole and starting to wake up and start tapping into a lot of shit that was the whole plan. The Agenda 21 shit, the whole depopulation, and everybody was, a lot of people was waking up. And then COVID woke a lot of people up as well. So, yeah. So now we here. Let's get into this real quick, because we got to still get into Trump's, press conference that was just live. But I wanted to get into this because a lot of people was not really hip to what's going on with this crypto system. A lot of people still, not aware of this shit. So this is how Trump's stablecoin bill will change the global crypto game. And it's not Trump's bill, because this is, he's basically just a, face. He's not really he don't really have the power to make decisions over central banks, people that have been running this shit for ages. Let's get into this shit.
United States of America. The world's largest economy has just upped the ante on crypto, and it was, of course, their crypto bull president behind this move. In a dramatic turn for the global crypto ecosystem, President Donald Trump has signed a historic new law, giving stablecoins official legal recognition in the United States. This isn't just another crypto update. This is a milestone moment for Wall Street, Silicon Valley, and global digital finance. For years, crypto hovered in a legal gray zone. Banned, embraced, regulated, unregulated. The confusion scared off investors and slowed innovation. But that era may be over. Under this new legislation, privately issued stablecoins, like those pegged to the US dollar, will now be regulated under a clear federal framework. And yes, these stablecoins must be fully backed by reserves and auditable. No room for the Wild West days of crypto anymore. Trump called it a landmark in U.S. financial leadership, saying the law is designed to make America the global leader in fintech, blockchain, and programmable money.
It's a very important act, the Genius Act. They named it after me, and I want to thank you. I want to thank you. This is a hell of an act. This has been something, a lot of people thought it was impossible, some of the things that have been done. Let me say, the entire crypto community, for years, you were mocked and dismissed and counted out. You were counted out as little as a year and a half ago. But this signing is a massive validation. And even before this signing, over the last year and a half, I think your stuff has gone up more than any stock, or just about more. A couple of stocks that were pretty good, I will say. But you have certainly, as an industry, gone up more than anybody. Nobody's gained the respect in such a short period of time. But this signing is a massive validation of your hard work and your pioneering spirit and your ability to never give up, because a lot of people would have given up 2-3 years ago. So I want to thank you for contributing to the incredible strength of America. This is going to make it stronger, and congratulations on this incredible achievement. You've made our dollar look really good and strong and powerful. It's good for the dollar and it's good for the country. And that's why I backed you at an early stage. And I also did it for the votes, because you did come out and vote, I will tell you. And they changed tune, Biden's team, they changed tune right in the middle of the campaign. And with today's signing, we're pushing even further into the exciting new frontier. Just as I promised last year, the Genius Act creates a clear and simple regulatory framework to establish and unleash the immense promise of dollar-backed stable coins. This could be perhaps the greatest revolution in financial technology since the birth of the internet itself. A lot of people are saying that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yes? If you say yes, I'm saying yes.
But what does the stablecoin bill really mean? Well, first of all, it gives clarity for developers, which means crypto companies now know the rules and completely gets rid of the regulatory fog. Secondly, institutional players finally have legal green lights. And last but not least, the US is open for crypto business, under law, not loopholes. The result? Big banks, payment giants, and even tech firms are now racing to launch their own stablecoins, knowing they'll have federal protections and guidelines to operate. This also creates a clear lane for innovation, while cracking down on fraud, rug pulls, and fake tokens. From speculative chaos to stable trust, this new law turns stablecoins from risky experiments into legal digital dollars.
This is making all transactions transparent as well. So they know what we spending. They know everything that's coming and going. They can track every bit of spending we do is constantly traceable to the public. At that, with the blockchain, it makes everything transparent, which is crazy as shit.
Not just that, they can stop your payments whenever
and they can stop your payments, right? And they take money.
There's no more.
Yeah, and they take your taxes out in real time. You ain't got to wait to file for taxes at the end of the year. They're going to take that shit out as you go along. Same thing with the payment system. You ain't got to wait 2 weeks for a paycheck. You're going to get paid as you go, as you work. On an hour,
and it'll be easier for them to take. And it'll be easier for them to take your assets also. Once they tokenize, once they start tokenizing everything on a blockchain, like real estate and everything. Once you start tokenizing all your assets online on a blockchain, they're going to be able to take that stuff in real time now.
Yeah. And they linking it to your social, and they linking it to your social media. So if you say anything on social media, they can actually take the money out of your fucking account. And PayPal jumped the gun when they came out with that. When they posted that shit about they're gonna start fining people $2,000 for what they saying on social media, and they had to quickly delete that fucking shit because they try to slick it in and throw it in their policy ahead of time, and they got caught. They got caught. And they had to quickly delete that shit out of their PayPal policies. So that's what we saying. A lot of this shit that's going on now is just a distraction from the fuck with this shit. Because if people really know what this shit is about, they're going to face a lot of pushback from the people. If the people wake up to know what the fuck they doing with this new financial system, that's going to make a lot of people wake up and give them a lot of pushback. So they need to keep distracting us with this Epstein. Now the Epstein shit is real too, because they got to keep lies up to cover that shit up too. They got to do whatever they got to do to distract us that these motherfuckers that's running the world is actually pedophiles and goddamn sex trafficker and slave masters, all that shit they was doing. That's another thing they got to do to cover that shit up. But they also got to cover up the fact that they got to keep people blindsided with this new financial system. That's all this shit is about. That's all this shit is really about. Make sure y'all double tap the screen, like this video, subscribe, turn on all notifications. Let's keep it going.
While Europe debates crypto rules and China pushes its own centralized digital yuan, the US just bet big on private digital currency, with a law that could reshape global finance. With this move, the US is effectively launching a private sector digital dollar, without needing a central bank-issued digital currency. As stablecoins go mainstream and banks plug into blockchains, one thing is clear: crypto is no longer the future. With Trump's signature, it's now the law. For more on this unfolding digital revolution, keep watching Mint.
So that was on the Mint channel. Yeah, so they're waiting to pass the Clarity Act. Their deadline is June. Their deadline is June with passing the Clarity Act for the you know, for the crypto, and they're going to decide which crypto is going to be, you know, that's going to be in place to basically tokenize, you know, all the assets and shit like that. So that's what we.
So once Congress agrees to all this and they sign crypto into law, like digital currency into law, that means that most places don't even have to deal with cash anymore.
Facts. Banks don't.
Which means that'll make them easily be able to phase out cash.
Right.
And once they phase out cash, like, y'all have to understand like what would happen if we went cashless and everything was digital. Like, that would definitely disrupt the power structure of the whole world. That means that'd give the government absolute power over its citizens.
Yeah.
Absolute power.
And remind you, this is a global thing now. This is a global financial system that they implement. It's just not for America. This whole crypto digital currency system is set up as a global. When they was talking about the one world financial system, one world religion, one world government and all that, this is the times that they was talking about. This whole cashless society, one world, basically one world currency, which is the crypto digital currency. That's the shit they was talking about. For all you people that was saying, oh, that's just conspiracy theory. Back in the early 2000s, remember? Late 90s, early 2000s. Oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. Ain't gonna never be no one world currency, no one world government, none of that. They fooled y'all ass.
We had it there fast.
They fooled y'all ass. This cryptocurrency is the next phase. They fooled y'all ass. But us that been we've been paying attention since then, so we knew this shit was coming. But shout out to y'all that, you know, that was tapped in and knew this shit was coming. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all that's just catching on to what the fuck is happening. You know what I'm saying? Y'all wouldn't be here if you didn't want to tap in and know the truth. You wouldn't be here right now. But the fact that you tuned into us right now, you want to know what the fuck really going on with this system. Not the bullshit the mainstream media keep peddling to us and lying to us to control the algorithm with the bullshit. No.
Y'all have to understand something. The United States government, along with the big conglomerate corporations, are literally at a covert war with the American citizens.
Facts.
They're poisoning our food. They poisoning our water. They poisoning our air. They getting rid of all the jobs. They getting us trapped in all these different financial bubbles, whether it's student loan or car note or mortgage. They're out there. They basically causing all these wars that they know for sure is going to collapse the economy and make Americans have to pay quadruple for everything. And we're paying quadruple for shit with less quality. Like we was paying, like, just go back to the 90s. We was paying less for stuff with higher quality. Now we in 2026 and we're paying out the ass for stuff that's low quality, bad service, low quality food, low quality water, low quality gas. Fucking gas run out. You fill your tank up, and in a day that shit be on E again.
Right.
Because they watering that down. Like this is literally what you call a war. It's a covert war and we don't see it because we ain't seeing bombs being dropped on us. We ain't seeing tanks going down the street. So we don't realize that we're at war. That's the problem. And look, they attacking us in more than one way. They attacking our mental through social media. Look, the social media platforms is getting sued because how it's messing up the mental health of the kids. You got some parents out here that's suing the social media companies because of how addicting it is and how it messes up people's mental state.
Yeah, they awarded that person $3 million, right?
Yeah,
something like that. It was like 3 million.
And that's another strategy that they're using to get the digital IDs across, because they like, oh, they want to see, they create the problem and say, we need to find out what kids are using social media and make sure we able to block them. So we need a better tracking system. So let's make it to where everybody needs a digital ID basically to sign up to social media. That's where they going. That's why they let cases like this even shine on the mainstream media, because they don't give a fuck that this is causing mental health problems. The government love that it's causing most of us mental health problems being on social media. They love that aspect because that's part of their war. That's one of their weapons that they use. But they also like to act like they also like to act like they're going to solve the problem by fake suing Zuckerberg and all these motherfuckers out there for saying that they created a platform that made kids' mental health bad and made them addicted. But really, they just want to do that so the government can change the law. So we have to use the digital IDs to sign up for everything. That means if you need digital ID for everything digitally, you can't no longer make anonymous accounts or nothing like that. So everything is going to be attached to your one number online. And once they ban you from one thing, they can ban you from everything else. And they know it's you because they have your biometrics. Because digital ID is about biometrics. Your eye scan, your fingerprint. Once they control that, once you're obligated to only be able to access the internet with digital ID using your biometrics, that's when they're going to really be able to shut you down. Because then they can identify you and they could go back and pull up and see what you said on social media, whether they like it or not. If they don't like something, they can easily just cancel your membership at the bank the mobile bank that you banking at. Or they can easily just shut you out of the grocery store. You can't even go to the grocery store to spend your digital currency because they know you went to that grocery store and they could shut it down right away. And if they pass laws to where, you can't buy more, your family can't have more than 2 packs of chicken and 2 pounds of grapes. So once they implement that type of stuff with digital ID and cashless society, there's no more going to different stores. Well, if I can't buy it in that store, then I buy an extra pound of grapes at Target. If I can't get it at Target, I go, nope, ain't no more doing that if it's cashless. They'd be able to shut all that shit down. So you won't be able to shop nowhere to get an extra pack of chicken for your family or an extra pound of grapes.
Right.
You won't be able to go nowhere like how you used to, like during COVID. Well, if I can't go here, I just go to Target then. If I can't get it at the dollar store, then I go to Walmart. Because it's only one, you're only allowed to buy 1 or 2 items per purchase.
Right.
See, you ain't gonna be able to do that no more. Now it's like no matter where you go, they gonna know that you spent money at Target and Walmart. Like, well, no, you already bought your 2 pounds for the day.
Yeah, no more
grapes.
I mean, that was in the movie. That was in the movie 1984 when they was rationing out the chocolate. They said, "Oh yeah, you only allowed 25% chocolate today." Remember in that movie 1984? For y'all that watched 1984, they was rationing out the food, telling them they only allowed to have a percentage of this, a percentage of that, and they did that during COVID. They was like, you only allowed to buy 2 dozen of eggs. That's it per household and shit. Or 2 or 3 packs of chicken. Because you gotta leave some for the other customers and shit like that. Right. Yeah, that's how they train us. That's how they put us on training wheels. Let's get to a quick commercial break because this video is sponsored by our own products, nightandayherbals.com, where we sell natural herbal products. Nothing with pesticides, nothing with chemical sprays, none of that. We use all natural herb, grown in season, herbal products, herbal soaps, herbal CBDs in the form of cigarettes and flour, and also vapes and whatever. We have organic sea moss, all that stuff. So make sure y'all check out our website, nightandayherbals.com, because we got to get into this Trump press conference.
If you crave nature but still shop online, Night and Day Herbals is your dream come true. Discover premium herbal soaps, shampoos, and CBD products. All organic, all for you. Shop now at nightandayherbals.com.
All right, the link to our shop is in the description of this video and pinned to the chat. Make sure y'all check us out. Make sure you join the email list as well, because we give out discounts through the email list. And when we get new products in, you will also get the email and everything else. So make sure y'all check that out. All right. Let's go ahead and get into Trump's press conference because he just went live. So we're going to get into this. All right, make sure y'all double tap the screen, like this video, and subscribe if you haven't. Let's get it. And get some sound on this. Let me know if y'all can hear it.
Happy Easter. We had a great Easter. This is one of our better Easters, I think, in a lot of different ways. I can say militarily, it's been one of the best. So, good afternoon. We have quite a bit to discuss. We'll go into pretty good detail. And we have the people that are most involved. We'll give you exactitude And we're here today to celebrate the success of one of the largest, most complex, most harrowing combat searches. I guess you would call it a search and rescue mission ever attempted by the military. Generally, when planes are knocked down in war, especially when you're fighting a strong group, an evil group, you can't really do this because you send in 200 men to pick up one, and it's something that's usually not attempted as much as you want to attempt. And bad things happen to that one or two. And in this case, we did two, and it might not have been attempted before, but we did. And we had great talent. We got a little luck too, I would say. And we were helped by a lot of people, a lot of great people. And it was an honor to be involved with it. It's very historic. This is a rescue that's very historic. It'll go down in the books. Late Thursday night, an American F-15 fighter jet went down deep inside enemy territory in Iran while participating in Operation Epic Fury, where we're doing unbelievably well, well at a level that nobody's ever seen before. The entire country can be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night. Both members of the crew ejected from the aircraft and landed alive. On Iranian soil, I immediately was asked to...
Let's just clear this up. There's no way in the world they're going to be able to beat Iran. You see how huge that country is? And it's all mountains and all that shit. Ain't no way in the world American troops or Israeli troops going to be able to navigate through that terrain. How? You see, y'all know how...
Care about that, though.
I don't think they care about that. Right, yeah, right. Because it's all a blood sacrifice.
They survive or not. Yeah,
they
don't even
all
care
a blood
if they survive
sacrifice.
or not. Right.
Yeah, because it's all a blood sacrifice anyway. Right.
That is, they did the same thing when they sent troops over to Vietnam, and that's why the United States got their behinds beat in the Vietnam War, because it was they didn't know where the fuck they were going in those jungles over there.
Right.
Like, it's
make a decision.
It's all the script, y'all. It's all the script.
Right.
It's all
The
scripted,
U.S.
and
Armed
it's ritual, and they really killing us, killing us off.
Right.
To do whatever was necessary to bring our brave warriors back home. A risky decision, because we could have ended up with 100 dead as opposed to 1 or 2. It's a hard decision to make. But in the United States military, we leave no American behind. We don't do it. Within hours, our armed forces deployed 21 military aircraft into hostile airspace, many flying at very low altitude, being shot by bullets. You bring rifles into play when you're going that low, but there are also certain advantages. And in broad daylight over Iran for 7 hours, at times facing very, very heavy enemy fire. We have a helicopter that's got a lot of bullets in it. It's amazing. We just realized how good those weapons are. Those are machines. Nobody has.
Everybody that's against this war in the chat, press 111 if you're against this war. And I'm really specifically talking to American citizens right now too, because you gotta realize they going to war. They going to war on our dime.
Yeah, that just
they're going to war on. They going to war on our dime, y'all. And they said this war literally costs $890-something million a day, and we're already $40 trillion in debt, in national debt.
Yeah, they already spent $68 trillion on the war, and they asking for 200 billion more. They already spent 68 billion dollars on the war, and they asking for 200 billion more dollars.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think most of us are against this war.
Right.
In the United States, like majority.
Yeah, we didn't ask for it.
Like we really don't want to invade Iran. Like we really don't. Like no American citizen is sitting around scared in their homes, ducking their head, saying, "Oh, Iran is going to get us." Like you're wasting our money right now, Trump. We don't want to go to war with Iran. There's no reason for us to be warring with Iran right now. And we already know, and we already let y'all know this ain't really Trump. It's the people that's controlling Trump. We gotta realize that any president in that Oval Office, they are puppets as soon as they step in there. There's foreign interest that really owns the United States. And they own United States basically through the big corporations and the banks. Because the big corporations and the banks tell these politicians what to do. Why do you think all the rules and all the laws always benefit the big corporations and never the individual? Why don't none of the laws never... I feel like we get no support as the individual. All the power is like goes to the government and to the corporations. Corporations are allowed to do whatever they want. And when they do get in trouble, they get a little fine. Oh, let's fine the biggest bank in the world. Let's fine them $10 million or $50 million. $50 million to one of the biggest banks in the world is like basically them pulling change out of a couch. Like when we find a little bit of couple quarters, maybe $1 that was buried in the couch. That's the equivalent of one of these big ass banks paying a fine to the government. And it's just a payoff to the government, because when these big banks and shit or any of these corporations, when they get in trouble and they get sued, who that money go to? Think about it. Who the money go to when let's say Wells Fargo gets sued in a class action suit or something like that, or the government fines them. The government fines them $50 million. Who does that $50 million go to? Because the American citizens don't benefit from that shit at all. They claim that, oh, it goes for this agency and that agency and it paid it. But really the money really goes into politicians' pockets.
Right.
So when the corporations get in trouble for something and the government fine them, that's just them paying the politicians off to continue to operate.
That's it.
That's all that is, because that's what they do. They take that little slap on the wrist. But the thing is, when a small business get hit with that same thing from the government, they never survive. They know this. That's how they control. Right. That's how they control the power dichotomy in the United States. That's how they control it. That's how they keep the little man little, and then that's how they keep the government and the corporations basically stronger.
Can I chime in real quick? Bigger. This distraction is so goddamn bad, right? They want to distract the people so bad. Why the fuck are we going into space at a time like this when we going 40 trillion in debt? Why the fuck is we going into space? That's how bad they want to distract the people. They launching shit into space. What the fuck we need to go into space for? There's nothing up there.
That wasn't even a real video, bro. They laundering money.
They laundering exactly.
Showing us the fake video of them going to space. They know they ain't really going to no damn space.
Exactly.
On April Fools, on the 1st of April, April Fool's Day.
April Fool's Day. Yeah.
Like in America, we do something called April Fool's joke. For y'all that's coming here from other countries. In America, April 1st to us, we call it April Fool's Day, and that's what we play pranks on people and jokes.
And that's what they're using to steal money. They're using this fake ass space launch to steal money.
The United States launched a fake rocket up towards the moon, and basically American citizens got to fit the bill, and they did it on April Fool's Day.
Right, April Fool's, that's crazy. Just letting you know right there. I had to chime in with that because people don't understand. This whole fake ass going into space shit is just a way for them to launder money and basically suck more money out of the American citizens. That's it. That's all it's about. So I had to chime in with that. Let's get back to this goofy ass motherfucker.
So how much did it cost? So hold on, before we move on, how much did it cost for them to launch into space?
Billions of dollars, bro. Let's just call it what it is. You could probably type it in. You probably can type it in right now. How much?
That's what I'm doing.
Let me just switch to the debt clock just to show y'all. This shit is constantly they constantly doing all this shit off our motherfucking slave labor, basically.
It cost them $4.1 billion.
It cost them $4.1 billion to go into space. Well, fake ass space.
They wasting our money on that bullshit. We $40 trillion in debt. They fighting a bogus war. People is going without jobs. People is struggling to pay bills, struggling to pay food, struggling to pay energy, struggling to clothe their kids, and they just sent somebody to space, fake ass space, for $4.1 billion.
That's insane.
And they still want to squeeze us for more tax dollars. They still want the IRS to kick in your door and take your money. And they doing shit like wasting money, $4.1 billion to go to space.
I mean, let us know what we saying is wrong or not. Because I mean, this is, what's the point? What'll be the point to go out into space any goddamn way? Even though we know a dome is covering this motherfucker, so they ain't going nowhere. But what is the point, though? Like we said, all they want to do is keep extracting money out of this economy. Let's continue to hear
$4.1 billion in one day, in one bill.
$4.1 billion.
They just gave American citizens a $4.1 billion bill to go to the fucking moon for what?
And that shit ain't even benefit nothing. It's not. What are you getting going there? Like, even if they could get to the moon, what is there that's going to benefit the people? Let's just get it out the way right now. What's them going into space is going to benefit the people? How? We ain't getting no return investment in on that shit. Are any of y'all getting a return investment in on them going out into space? No. Let's continue, man.
No value.
No value? All right, let me reshare it again. All right. Sometimes the sound go out.
And that's just one example. That's just one example of a big ass bill that they give us we didn't ask for, y'all.
All right.
The government does a lot of wasteful spending.
All right.
I mean, we're paying $800 million a day just for a war that none of us agreed to.
Took extraordinary risks to rescue their fellow service members. This first wave of search and rescue forces successfully located the pilot of the F-15, and he was extracted from enemy territory by an HH-60 Jolly Green II helicopter. Fabulous machine as our warriors faced gunfire at very close range. It's amazing that when you look at the machinery, what happened, that nobody was even injured. Meanwhile, the second crew member, a weapons system officer, highly respected colonel, had landed a significant distance away from the pilot. When you're going at those speeds, even if you go out 2 or 3 seconds later, it's miles and miles away because you're going fast. He was injured quite badly and stranded in an area teeming with terrorists from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps rough group, as well as besieged militia and local authorities. Many, on top of everything else, they told the communities actually within inside of Iran, the people of Iran, they were given a tremendous incentive to find this pilot. Despite the peril, the officer followed his training and climbed into the treacherous mountain terrain and started climbing toward a higher altitude, something they were trained to do in order to evade capture. They want to always go as far away from the site of the shoot down. You want to go as far away because they all head right to that site. You want to be as far away as you can. And he was injured, and he was an amazing, amazing thing. He scaled cliff faces, bleeding rather profusely, treated his own wounds, and contacted American forces to transmit his location. They have a very sophisticated beeper type apparatus that is on them at all times. And when they go out on these missions, they make sure they have lots of battery space and they're in good shape. And this one worked really well, amazingly, saved his life. We immediately mobilized a massive operation to retrieve him from the mountain holdout. And he kept going higher and higher. The mountain kept getting rougher and rougher and really very, very hard to find.
He basically read
The
off
second
the script.
rescue mission involved 155 aircraft, including 4 bombers, 64 fighters, 48 refueling tankers, 13 rescue aircraft, and more. We were bringing them all over, and a lot of it was subterfuge. We wanted to have them think he was in a different location because they had a vast military force out there. Thousands of people were looking. So we wanted them to look in different areas. So we were scattered all over like we were right on top of them.
Yeah, read
We
the
had 7
script.
different locations where
from a fictional
they
movie.
thought, and they were very confused.
Chat
They said,
GPT.
well, wait a minute, they've got groups here, they've got groups there. It's amazing.
And I had this
I was
little
listening
ad
to
libs and them shit.
these great people, these great generals. General
This
Raisin
is
Kane
so
was
fake.
amazing, and Pete Hegseth
Y'all
was
understand how
amazing. But I
fake
listened to the
all
whole
this
thing. It was pretty amazing. So they had all these different sites where everybody thought he was located. We think we have him over there because they have 9
Hey,
planes.
just mind
circling
y'all, it
a
don't
little
matter
area
who's standing.
that's
Kamala could have been standing
25
up
miles
there.
down the coast.
Biden
So
could
in
have
a
been standing up there. Hillary
breathtaking
Clinton could
show
have
of
been
skill
standing
and
up there.
precision, lethality,
Michelle
and
Obama
force.
could be standing. I don't
America's
give a fuck who's up
military
there.
descended
It's
on the
gonna be
area,
this fake. It's
the
all
real
fake,
area.
y'all.
Right.
Engaged
No
the
matter who's
enemy,
up there,
rescued
they're all
the stranded
puppets and it's all
officer, destroyed all threats, and exited Iranian territory while taking no casualties of any kind. The heroic F-15 weapons system officer had evaded capture on the ground in Iran for almost 48 hours. That's a long time when you're in tough shape and when you're bleeding. It's a long time. When we left, as you probably know, we had 2 large planes, pretty old planes. It carried a lot. We needed a lot more equipment going in than coming out, obviously, because going in, we needed to be able to scale mountains. And we had a lot of equipment. But the sand was sandy, wet sand. So we thought there may be a problem taking off because of the weight of the plane. And then we also had all the men jumping back onto the planes. And they got pretty well bogged down. And we had a contingency plan, which was unbelievable, where lighter, faster aircraft came in and they took them out. We blew up the old planes. We blew them up to smithereens because we had equipment on the planes that frankly we'd like to take, but I don't think it was worthwhile spending another 4 hours there taking it off. So we didn't want anybody to have, we have the best equipment anywhere in the world. We didn't want anybody examining our anti-aircraft and other equipment. So these were large planes that were old and pretty old, and we blew them up. And we had faster, lighter planes come in, and they were able to land on the sand. We needed the bigger planes because we had so much equipment that we needed. We took 3 helicopters over there, which were very strongly used and couldn't have lived without them. They did, and they performed unbelievably well. And if you'd see it, you wouldn't believe it. They came off the plane, and these guys had them. The rotors were off. They rebuilt these helicopters in less than 10 minutes. And that was one of the more amazing things. These are helicopters, small, unbelievably powerful, but small, very small, so it can get into certain areas. And they got them off the plane, and they rebuilt all 3 of them in a matter of less than 10 minutes. It's pretty amazing what the genius of these people. Who would think that? You'd think it would take 5 days to build them. And in some companies, it would take 5 days, and they wouldn't do it well. But they served us well. As Commander-in-Chief, I never forget the extraordinary risk taken by the warriors that we send into battle and the genius. I mean, think of it, having a contingency of 3 planes waiting because we think the sand is so bad that we probably won't be able to take off. And the planes really got bogged. This was not much of a runway. This was a farm, not a runway. It's a farm, but it did the trick. But to have a contingency as opposed to having to wait 2 days, can you imagine right in the middle? This was central. This was right, you would call it central casting if you were doing a movie for location. And probably the toughest area of Iran where would be sitting there. So these planes came in, those pilots came in so fast and so quick and got out of there. Everybody got aboard and just got 15-minute intervals. One load out, one load out, one load out. It happened. And we were watching and we said, that's amazing. It's in many ways, I was almost more impressed by the contingency that we had than the fact that, if we would have had a runway or decent soil, but it was an amazing thing. But we thank God for every single one of them and the talent. The genius is not even talent, it's genius. It's the whole ball game, every one of them. If you look at what we did with Maduro, we went into a military compound, a massive, with thousands and thousands of soldiers, and within a matter of minutes, and he lived behind iron doors. There were steel doors, broke them down so quickly. And within almost minutes, he was in the back of these planes. It was a similar group. Incredible. We have incredibly talented people. And if the time comes, we move heaven and earth to bring them home safely. We're going to bring our people home safely. I want to thank every member of the U.S. Armed Forces involved in these historic operations. They really were historic. It's just not something that's done. And you'd understand it. Not that they don't want to do it, but when you're going into areas, when you look at these helicopters, when you look at the amount of bullets and everything else that they took, when you go into these areas, you don't come out like we came out. God was watching us. I tell you, well, it was the Easter. We were in the Easter territory, I guess, but God was watching us. Amazing. Because when you look at the machinery, they took damage. It tells you, first thing I said is, these are unbelievable machines, how they flew back and not even much of a problem. But these two extraordinary rescues, because it was two, and as you probably know, we didn't talk about the first one for an hour, and then somebody leaked something, which we'll hopefully find that leaker. We're looking very hard to find that leaker.
Leaker like his bladder.
Talk about there's somebody missing. They basically said that we have one and there's somebody missing. Well, they didn't know there was somebody missing until this leaker gave the information. So whoever it was, we think we'll be able to find it out because we're going to go to the media company that released it, and we're going to say, national security, give it up or go to jail. And we know who, and you know who we're talking about, because some things you can't do. Because when they did that, all of a sudden, the entire country of Iran knew that there was a pilot that was somewhere on their land that was fighting for his life. And it also made it much more difficult for
he's just on here trying to sell this war. Nobody asked for it. Nobody should be going into anywhere. Nobody
know that there's somebody out there. They see all these planes coming in. It became a much more difficult operation.
Facts.
Because a leaker leaked that we have one. We've rescued one.
This is a bullshit
but
war.
There's another one out there that we're trying to get.
We know you're just a puppet.
So actually, the country, Iran, put out a major notice. You all saw it, offering a very big award for anybody that captures the pilot. So in addition to a hostile, very talented, very good, very evil military,
how much did it
we
cost
had
us?
Millions of people trying to get an award. So
right.
When you add that to it, but we have to find that leaker because that's a sick
why
person.
are we there still? Nobody
probably didn't realize the extent of how bad it was. I can't
Americans
imagine that person did, but we're going to find out. It's national security, and the person that did the story,
why are we wasting our money
go to jail
over there?
if he doesn't say, and that doesn't last long. And I think everybody would understand it. They put this mission at great risk. They put that man at great risk, and they put the hundreds of people that went in looking for him, because everyone now knows.
Why Congress still sitting on their ass and allowing? Oh, that's right.
Over the
past
27
a lot
of them probably being blackmailed.
Yeah, a lot of them was white mailed by Epstein. Right. Yeah, pretty much. Trump's himself been white mailed by Epstein. That's why he all up there.
That's obvious.
Rubbing on Netanyahu nuts. He up there squeezing on and massaging Netanyahu nuts because he's been black. He's been white mailed as well by Epstein.
They got sound like an actual official nut. Netanyahu nut. That sound like yeah.
Yeah, Netanyahu. Pause.
Netanyahu. Pause.
Yo, you ain't see how Trump poured his seat out for him and shit and tucked him in? Like he poured it. Like you don't never see Trump do no shit like
that's
that.
his leader.
Like
That's his leader.
you ain't never see Trump in history pull out a chair for somebody. Not even a woman. You ain't never even see him do that shit for a woman. He did that shit for Netanyahu. Right. He did that shit for Netanyahu.
The thing is, you know who really controls him is the Rothschilds and Rockefeller.
Rothschilds and Rockefeller.
They all bow down to them.
Right.
Yeah, this Trump guy, he's not even real, y'all. And y'all was in there. Ooh, Trump is going save America, MAGA.
It's
no,
because
the fuck he's not.
Because we got used to. Yeah, because we got used to seeing him over the years being the billionaire mogul, businessman. All the rappers was rapping about him throughout the 90s and the 2000s. It's like over 2,000, 3,000 songs with Trump name in there. And, the media did a good job hyping this motherfucker up. They're basically building him up to this. Because, they think 30, 20 years ahead. So when we see him in the 80s talking about going into Iran and taking the oil and all that shit, let me pull that clip up. For y'all that probably don't remember, let me just refresh your memory with this clip here. And y'all can be like, oh shit. Then they was just basically grooming him to this point.
Rothschilds and Rockefeller, these dudes are ignorant as fuck. Nah, you ignorant, bro. You
gotta
do the research.
We just pulled up Jacob Rothschild saying that his uncle. Yeah, that's his uncle. Do we have to pull that shit up again just to show you that
these people are just ignorant. They just need to go do the research themselves. We ain't stopping the show. We ain't stopping the show to go do research for them. They need to go do research. Or they just gonna stay ignorant and project ignorance onto other people when they really ignorant. Because this is actually public record. Oh, name calling, you get banned. Yeah, no name calling.
All right, so let me pull this back up.
Agree with what we saying, but once you start name calling and all that, you just
you just lost. You already lost when you start name calling.
Yeah, but that means you lost. That means you forfeit. That means everything you say don't even matter after the fact. Because if you basically calling people out their name, then you just you just lost already. So just forget it.
All right.
Let me get them out of here completely now.
Right. Yeah, get them out of here completely. All right, this is Trump. Yeah, this is Trump 39 years before. This to show you that the plan was always in the plan. So this is a clip from 1987. Let me know if y'all can hear it.
Why couldn't we go in and take over some of their oil, which is along the sea?
How would you do that? Would you send in the Marines? Would you take a chance in the war?
Let them have Iran. You take their oil. That's what
How?
How?
I mean, do we want a war? What do you mean we take their oil?
You go in.
How do we go in?
You're going to have a war by being weak.
Okay, how do we go in? What do we do?
Excuse me. Yeah? You're going to have a war, and it's going to start in the Middle East.
What if the Soviet Union said, you do this to Iran, we're going to come in?
I don't believe they'd do it. The next time Iran attacks this country, go in and grab one of their big oil installations, and I mean grab it and keep it, and get back your losses, because this country has lost plenty because of Iran. Why couldn't we go in?
All right, so that's Trump in 1987 saying going into Iran with the oil. But we know this is not really his plan because he works for the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, which Netanyahu works for the Rothschilds and Rockefellers. The Zionists, spearheaded by the Rothschilds, because it was their uncle. It was Jacob D. Rothschild's uncle, or Evelyn D. Rothschild. All them, are cousins.
You talking about Walter? You talking about Walter Rothschild was the Zionist?
Walter D. Rothschild,
and he set up the state of Israel in 1948. That's literally that's fact. That's public. It's fact. That's not a conspiracy theory or nothing like that. And it's a fact that Jeffrey Epstein worked for Rockefeller and the Rothschilds. He said it himself out of his own mouth.
In the Steve Bannon interview that came out just recently. Yeah, he said he worked directly for the Rockefellers, which they recruited him for the Trilateral Commission, and he worked directly for the Rothschilds. Well, Rockefellers, Rothschild, they're cousins.
Cousins.
So so they all one big family. Anyway.
I mean, tell you the truth, Rockefellers literally started off as the representatives for the Rothschilds in the United States, but they just end up getting just bigger than, they end up getting just as big as the Rothschilds over here.
Yeah, that happened during the whole railroad revolution. Industrial. Basically, the railroad industrialization that came into play. That was the whole Rockefeller. Then they set up the educational system. The Rockefellers, so
the indoctrination system.
Yeah, indoctrination system. Facts. So yeah, that's them.
His armed forces have carried out more than 10,000 combat flights over Iran, unheard of, striking more than 13,000 targets. The F-15 we lost last week was the first manned aircraft down by the enemy in this entire operation, with thousands and thousands of flights. It was a lucky hit. Eventually you get lucky, but we got lucky too because we got both of them back. But it's a record that is unparalleled in the history of military air operations. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. It's such an honor to be involved with it. We were up late at night, and then we were waiting for those contingent planes to come in, and we say, come on, let's go, get in, because they're waiting out on this farm without a runway, with wet, crummy soil, sand, mostly sand, wet sand, and it eats planes alive. And we're waiting, and we're saying, I hope that one can land and take off. And they came in like magic, boom, 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 one after another. It was like genius. So impressed by that. Because we were a little concerned. We said, boy, if they don't get in and get up fast, we're sitting in them. And that's called Iran Prime, right, General? That's where the whole bet is.
Yeah, he eventually brings the general in, too.
A plane, but they came in so fast and so hard, and these guys knew exactly what to do. Let's go, come on, get in, let's go, blah. They came one right after another,
get in,
not at the same time. They don't want to come at the same time. They had to come right after each other. They didn't have any room. There was barely any room to land.
That was Trump's
tiny little patch of very.
That was his sound effects for boom. Come on, let him in. Quah. That was his sound effect for a bomb being dropped. This guy.
Wet earth and sand. So I'm so proud of the people that I have standing up here with me, and many others at work. I mean, so many. Steve Witkoff's over here. He's doing fantastically. Jared Kushner. But the people that are here, the job they did is amazing. And I think I'm going to introduce the head of the CIA, and he is a man he's central casting, okay? If we cast a movie, he's going to play the head of the CIA. He's one of the few. John Ratcliffe, he did a phenomenal job that night. He did something that I don't know if you want to talk about it.
They're all actors, y'all.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to talk about it. But
we're going to talk about if they did a movie, CIA. That's already a movie. This already a movie. This is already a movie script. Already. What is he talking about?
The CIA was very responsible for finding this little speck. It's like they used an expression on one of the shows. The general was talking about, it's like finding a needle in a haystack, finding this pilot. And the CIA was unbelievable. And you may, if you can, you'll talk, it might be classified, in which case I'd have to put him in jail if he talks about it. And I don't want to put him in jail. He doesn't deserve that. So, John, do you want to say a few words?
Thank you. He looked like he's part of the mafia. He looked like he's mafia. He's just a mob boss. He's just a mob boss standing up there
today to share what we can about this exceptional mission and to recognize the ingenuity and bravery of those who executed it, as well as the leadership and resolve of the president who ordered it. One thing that has been clear to me in this role is that the flawless military operations that the Department of War is known for are hostage to flawless intelligence. We saw that in the skies over Iran in Operation Midnight Hammer last summer. We witnessed it in Venezuela during Operation Absolute Resolve. We've seen it against the cartels in the Western Hemisphere, and we're seeing it every day in Operation Epic Fury, including this mission to rescue an aviator buried deep behind enemy lines. because it is the unique tradition of the U.S. Armed Forces that we leave no man or woman behind, this was a no-fail mission. That was the spirit in which the president put us to work, and we were determined not to let him down or our airmen down.
The biggest organized crime
agency,
on the planet right now
CIA
is the United States and Israel.
Unique capabilities that only the
They
president
bigger
can
than any
deploy.
mafia, any cartel.
Some of these capabilities fall under
They La
covert action
Cosa
authorities.
Nostra on fucking
And because
steroids.
covert means exactly that, I'm not going to be able to tell you everything that you want to know. At the president's direction, we deployed both human assets and exquisite technologies that no other intelligence service in the world possesses to a daunting challenge, comparable to hunting for a single grain of sand in the middle of a desert. This was also a race against the clock, as it was critical that we locate the downed aviator as quickly as possible, while at the same time keeping our enemies misdirected. For that reason, in addition to the human and technical assets deployed by the president to find our airmen, CIA executed a deception campaign to confuse the Iranians who were desperately hunting for our airmen. On Saturday morning, we achieved our primary objective by
Hunting for our
finding
airmen.
and
Pause.
providing confirmation that one of America's best and bravest was alive and concealed in a mountain crevice, still invisible to the enemy, but not to the CIA. That confirmation was relayed by Secretary Hegseth to the president, and the operation quickly moved to the execution phase. Following the successful exfiltration on Saturday night, our intelligence reflects that the Iranians were embarrassed and ultimately humiliated by the success of this audacious rescue mission. When the president asked me to lead the CIA, he made it clear: get back to basics, no politics, no agendas, tackle the hardest problems, and execute the toughest missions. This president is about results. And now that's what his CIA is about too. The professionals at the agency and at the Department of War deserve immense credit for their flawless execution during this daring mission. Their skill, creativity, and courage are unmatched on the battlefield wherever they step. But none of that matters. And all of that is wasted without a president with the political courage to put them into action. Mr. President, I've had the privilege of seeing you act with political courage in the best interest of the United States up close on a daily basis, and I'm grateful that this successful mission has given the American people a window into that as well. The Secretary and Chairman will tell you that our service members' confidence is boosted by a Commander-in-Chief who has their back the same way they have yours.
What's that smell?
And I know that the confidence of CIA's officers is boosted by the knowledge that their work is informing a president who's not afraid to make the hardest decisions when the stakes are highest. And to the American people, your confidence should be boosted by knowing that the security of the nation is in the hands of a president who's willing to take on problems.
How many of y'all actually feel threatened by Iran? Press 111 if you feel threatened by Iran. Press 222 if you don't. I'm talking about American citizens, because it's our tax dollars that they're using.
Threatened by Iran.
None of us feel threatened by no goddamn Iran. They always got to create this boogeyman to basically funnel all the money out of the American citizens to sponsor some shit.
Threatened by Iran.
They always got to create the boogeyman.
Threatened by Iran? The normal day-to-day American citizen? The normal day-to-day American citizen don't give a shit about what's going on in Iran.
Do any of y'all feel
why would we want our troops and our kids to go over there to fight in a country that that American citizens never had no problem with? I never had a problem with an Iranian. Never.
I don't even think I even know an Iranian, to be honest.
You know what? Damn.
I don't even think I know one. A lot of us in here don't
Me
know
neither.
any
Me
Iranians.
neither, bro. Me neither.
A lot of people want peace. They don't want this war. They don't want this shit. We didn't sign up for this. We didn't pay. Well, we paying for it, but we didn't ask for this. Yeah.
Founded both sides of the political aisle for nearly half a century. It is an honor to serve under a leader who just
said Iran was a threat. All right, somebody said you can't be that stupid. Iran was a threat, but you all were crying to send money to Ukraine. Shit,
not us in here.
Don't send
We
money
ain't
to
talking
no
about
motherfucking body.
Get that money to Ukraine. What the fuck?
Money.
Hell nah.
Listen, all that money need to be going to the American citizens. We need to have free health care. Why the fuck are we paying for Israel to have free health care? Why are we kicking up money upstairs to Iran and shit and Ukraine and all these countries that money should be given to the American citizens? We should be having free health care here, free educational system here.
Money to Ukraine.
Who
the fuck ever said that in here? Whoever said that in here, we ain't never say no dumb shit like that we supported sending money to Ukraine. Why the hell would any American citizen support sending money to the Ukraine or to Israel or anywhere else in the fucking world?
Yeah, don't send nobody shit. Don't send nobody a goddamn thing. All that money should be spent in house.
Oh, they think that we fuck with Biden, like just because we don't fuck with Trump, that we automatically part of Biden and all. No, fuck both sides. I don't care about no goddamn Republican or no Democrat. I don't give a shit about none of them, because you know why? They don't give a shit about us.
All I want to say is they don't really care about us. Oh yeah, y'all think? Oh, you think we for the Democrats and Republicans?
I ain't for nobody in that government. I ain't for nobody in that government. They all the United States government is 100% rogue. Do I have to say it again? The United States government, along with Israel, is the biggest terrorist right now, the biggest terrorist organization on the planet. United States and Israel together is the biggest terrorist.
We just said ain't nothing free. It's done off the fucking back to the American citizens. Do I have to pull up the debt clock? You silly motherfucker. Of course it ain't.
You need to tell the government. Free. You need to tell the government that shit ain't.
Of course ain't nothing fucking free. They're using our tax dollars. Our tax dollars is being used to sponsor all this shit. What the fuck? And they used it to sponsor Epstein. Let's just get that out the way too. All that money that
no free stuff for us, only free stuff for the politicians, right?
Right.
Only that's what only free stuff for the politicians. They allowed to throw our money in the hole. They allowed to throw our money in a black hole where the national debt is 39 trillion and counting. And you saying American citizens don't deserve nothing, but they squeeze American citizens for every fucking penny we got. And then they throw it into a black hole, and then we supposed to have the mindset that we ain't supposed to look for nothing free from the government when the government robs us blind every fucking day. Like, do y'all listen to yourselves? These people love getting fucked from behind with no Vaseline. They love it. Oh, they love it. These people love being abused by their government. They call it patriotism. They patriots. They love being fucking being fucked by the favorite politician. They love it. Look at the national debt. Look at that. Look at that up there. Look how fast those numbers are going down. This is in real time. And no American citizen is benefiting off of this.
Yeah, we are not getting nothing off of this shit at all. They draining the fuck out of us, and we ain't getting nothing back. Nothing at all. This fake ass going to space. That's draining. That they spending billions on this fake ass trip to space, sponsored by American citizens, taxpayers. This war, they spending almost $1 billion a day, asking for $200 billion more for the war. Sponsored by United States taxpayers. Meanwhile, our educational system is going to hell. Our health system failing us because they fucking poisoning us in every direction. They spraying our air. They chemicalizing our water, putting all types of shit in our water.
Look at this. Look at this, JR.
Whoa.
Look at this. You guys have no idea what you're spouting out of your mouths. If you don't like our government, then pack your freaking bags and leave. Why would I leave when my family is naturally from the United States?
No, not the United States, bro. America.
The natives. Not
America.
even America.
Not the United States.
We're literally the natives.
Yeah,
we're not the natives of this land.
Right.
Why the fuck will we get out of here when most of the government is owned by foreign interests? Most of our government is being paid off by foreign interests. These big ass corporations are literally paying our politicians off to basically screw us every day, no matter if it's Democrat or Republican. This is national debt.
Man,
you gotta realize the government is hold on, let me get finished this point. The government is handling our money right now. They squeeze us for every cent. We get taxed on everything. They take that money and basically fuck off with it. The American citizens don't benefit at all from this. Look at the U.S. national debt. Look at the screen. $39 trillion, and it's still counting. That's how much debt we owe because this government is too big and it's rogue. They basically spending money to no end, basically with no oversight. Why would we leave? Why wouldn't we fire the people that's messing up our money? If you put your money into an investment company and they screw your money over and they got you in debt, leave. Why would you leave? Why would you leave? Why wouldn't you sit there and fight that company for your money that they basically screwed you for? Let's say you invested $100 million in an investment company and in a couple of years they had you $300 million in debt. And then at the end of that, they tell, well, if you don't like it, you need to leave. That's what you sound like, lady. That's what you sound like.
Listen what we saying to you, right? Because I don't think you understand what's going on. I don't think you, because you still talk about surface level shit. And that's all well and dandy that you know your husband spent 27 years in the Marines and defended a country supposedly, but my ancestors was slaughtered like completely by Europeans that came over here from Europe that was trying to escape their own government that was enslaving them. So they need to come over here and basically occupy land that was already occupied by my native people. So these wars and shit that our soldiers was fighting, it's based off of corporations and foreign interests and bankers. It has nothing to do with protecting American citizens. It's called protecting special interests. Foreign central banks and corporations. That's who the fuck they're protecting. They're not going to war based off the fact they're protecting American citizens. We got guns. We can protect our motherfucking selves. That's why we got the Second Amendment. We got guns. We can protect ourselves. We don't need protection. This shit is not about us. These senseless ass wars they fighting has everything to do with the central banks and the goddamn corporations. That's it. We don't fear Iran. We don't have to fucking, what the fuck will we fear Iran for?
Trump exact words was, we over there just to assist Israel.
That's it.
So how is that protecting Americans? How is that protecting Americans? Trump sending troops over there and bombing up Iran to assist Israel. What do American citizens, and we're spending $890-something million a day on this war. How does that benefit America? And now we're sending our kids over there to die, be sacrificed in this war to assist Israel. So you tell me how that's protecting us over here.
No, be honest, JFK was the best.
The only reason why Americans, hold on, let me answer this real quick. She said Americans live there. The only reason why Americans are in danger in Iran is because the United States government.
In Israel.
In Israel. Not because Iran just don't like the United States. And if that was the case, why would we even put our people in danger and send them over there to Iran? Why would they even be over there? A regular American citizen ain't in danger, and only the people that's over there with guns in their hand trying to tell Iranians what to do. You gotta understand, most of the conflict that goes on around the world, the United States initiates it. The United States is one of the biggest bullies on the planet right now.
Yeah, right. They would, right. Right. They say
over there to defend
right.
America anymore.
When you my bad, bro, but I just gotta say this real quick because people don't understand what the fuck going on. These people are putting Israel before American citizens. They're saying before America, period. When you run up on these politicians, all of them, they're not even allowed to say anything against Israel. What the fuck do that tell you? If you tell them America or Israel, they remain mute because every day it's guerrilla style journalists running up on these politicians, catching them coming out of their office or whatever, and they ask them, "Are you for Israel or American citizens?" They don't even fucking say anything. They just stay on mute. So what do that tell you? What do that tell you? Answer the question. What do that tell you? Are these politicians for America or are they for Israel? They run up on the U.S. Military, ask them the same question. They ain't even allowed to say Israel name. They ain't even allowed to say the fucking name. If they was for American people, they was like, listen, we're not supporting this war. We don't want to go to war. We don't want to go into Iran. We want to, remain here in America with our families. Like you said, bro, they're not going over there fighting for American citizens. They over there fighting to assist Israel. This is literally Trump. Literally,
you didn't say that. Trump said that shit.
Well, nah, I'm
said
just
that
saying,
out of his own mouth.
They literally took the oil from Venezuela and gave that shit to Israel. Literally, locked up. Basically, went down there and kidnapped Venezuela president and his wife, stole the oil, and then gave that shit to Israel. Is that American citizens ain't getting shit out of this?
And then our gas prices.
And our gas prices are up. Right.
They go steal all that oil from Venezuela, but then our gas prices are up.
Yeah, wake the fuck up. I know you've been brainwashed.
Most people are. There you go.
I know you've been brainwashed by mainstream media and the propaganda machine over the years because you was born into it. But you got to break the fucking spell now. You got to get out of. You got to break the fuck. You got. Yeah, you got to figure out a way to break the spell, man, because they got you in a trance. If you still believing in this shit, they got you all the way in the trance.
Well, it's nothing you could do for those people who's that far gone.
Then those the people that's gonna be left behind. That's usually what happens.
No, that's just how it is.
Right.
That's just what it's gonna be. Some people are so far gone when it comes to being brainwashed, they can never see outside of that. It's impossible. No matter how hypocritical their favorite politician is, they can't even see it. They can't even see it.
And the thing is, there's a lot of people that realize that this two-party system is bullshit. They realize this shit is Coke and Pepsi. They realize it's Coke and Pepsi.
And then people still stuck on this lesser of two evil shit. That don't exist. All right, so which one you gonna pick, the murderer or the rapist? That's basically your selection right there, the lesser evils. Which one do you pick? The murderer or the rapist? It's like they're all wicked. It don't matter what side. It don't matter if it's Republican or Democratic leaders. They all wicked. They all done business with Epstein and people like Epstein.
And that's another thing. The Epstein shit was
all of them.
was actually revealed to us and showed us that our fucking system it has these Epstein characters out here operating. Literally showing us. Literally showed us what the fuck these people that so-called running our government is tied into. And people really still believing in this wicked ass system. The Epstein shit was a wake-up call. For if you was asleep at the fucking wheel, the Epstein shit should have woke your ass up right away. Like, hold on here. Trump was friends with Epstein. Bill Clinton was friends with Epstein. Hold on, Epstein been around since the 80s. Every administration ignored this shit. They all knew what he was into. And you mean every administration ignored this shit? A lot of them was fly. Every politician, every celebrity flew on that. I mean, a lot of them was on that flight log with Epstein, flying back and forth from the island to Palm Beach to New York, flying to Africa, flying to this place, that place, all over the world.
And every administration supported Israel too.
And every
no matter Democrat or Republican.
Right. And Epstein directly worked for Israel.
Yes.
So right now, we are supporting Israel, who supported Epstein.
Right.
That should have been a wake-up call to the people that still the fuck sleep. And you mean to tell me we are still supporting this shit? That means we all still. If you still support, that means you support Jeffrey Epstein. Simple and plain. You agree with all that shit they was doing that came out in the Epstein files? You basically agreeing with it.
Why do you think Trump's new attorney general said we're no longer investigating anybody that's in the Epstein files?
Wow. So what the fuck are we talking about here? What are we talking about at the end of the day? What are we talking about here? Because both parties was in the Epstein files.
Both political parties was sending money to Israel, who supported Epstein. So that right there should tell you.
Yeah, what are we saying here at the end of the day?
That it don't matter who you vote for, they're all corrupt. Like there's no more lesser evil anymore. It's time for the people to start taking it into their own hands. And one of the first things people can do is vote with your dollars. Don't pay into the system anymore.
Yeah, they basically clean the house with all this firing federal agents and Pam Bondi and all. They just basically clean the house. It's like the scene from Goodfellas when the Latanza heist and Jimmy just start killing everybody that helped them rob Latanza for that $6 million, and he just start killing off his whole crew. That's basically all they doing is cleaning the house. That's it. That's all they doing. And you might start seeing people end up accidentally something happening to them too. Because you know you can't let people go with certain information that they had.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or they do something to wipe their mind.
Right.
Inject them with something or slip them something that'll basically make them go crazy, like, and lose their mind, like Biden and like Trump is right now losing his fucking mind.
Yeah, they saying his health is failing at a rapid rate right now. Yeah. Because I mean, if you first of all, they're taking that type of job anyway, where you constantly on call 24/7 around the clock. Because he's not a owner of. I mean, when you in the White House, you're just a president that's overseeing a corporation. So you're taking orders as well. You're just on call constantly. So his old ass really can't handle all this shit, tell you the truth. So yeah, his health's gonna start failing at a rapid rate. So hey, it is what it is. All we know is the American citizens they basically got us in a fucked up position. So so like we said, like at the end of the day, they both was in bed with Epstein. So
yeah, it's a done deal out here, y'all.
Hold on.
It's a done deal.
Oh, they bring this general guy in too, the other actor.
Oh, there's no volume.
No volume.
Mm-mm.
All right, so this is the CIA. So this is the CIA, chiming in and shit.
That you can believe him when he says, no matter what, we will leave no one behind. We will come for you. Thank you.
Well, John, thank you for the collaboration with the CIA as well. Incredible and ongoing partnership. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Americans, and especially the brave warriors in our armed forces, over this Easter weekend, the United States military has once again proved why we possess the greatest fighting force the world has ever known. In two extraordinary combat search and rescue operations deep inside enemy territory in Iran, our warriors executed missions of breathtaking skill, courage, and precision. When our warriors are unleashed, as this president has allowed them to be, they are unstoppable. When American airmen were down behind enemy lines, our forces and our president did not hesitate. Special operators supported by elite air crews and intelligence professionals moved swiftly and decisively into treacherous mountain terrain under the constant threat of Iranian forces closing in. Ultimately, it was an impotent Iranian threat. And today, as the CIA director mentioned, Iran's military, and we know this, is embarrassed and humiliated, and they should be. Now, these are not routine operations. They were high-risk, high-stakes missions conducted in the heart of enemy territory. This was not just barely into Iran. This was deep into Iran, involving coordinated strikes to suppress threats, deception tactics to protect our teams, and full synchronization across air, ground, and special operations. The Iranians are still asking themselves right now, how did the Americans do this? One downed airman evaded capture for more than a day, scaling rugged ridges while hunted by the enemy. When he was finally able to activate his emergency transponder, his first message was simple and it was powerful. He sent a message, God is good. In that moment of isolation and danger, his faith and fighting spirit shone through. You see, shot down on a Friday, Good Friday, hidden in a cave, a crevice, all of Saturday, and rescued on Sunday. Flown out of Iran as the sun was rising on Easter Sunday. A pilot reborn, all home and accounted for, a nation rejoicing. God is good. Despite incoming fire and unforgiving conditions, our troops brought every American home. No American lives were lost. We leave no man behind, and that is not luck. It's the result of unmatched training, superior technology, an unbreakable warrior ethos, and sheer American grit. Our special operators, pilots, and support crews performed with near perfection under fire, and they were lethal. Just ask any Iranian soldier who dared attempt to get anywhere near that pilot before or during that mission. Death from above. Our troops turned a potential tragedy into a resounding demonstration of American resolve and capability. That's what excellence in uniform looks like. But make no mistake about it. None of this would have been possible without the courageous leadership and ironclad determination of President Donald J. Trump. From the moment our airmen went down, President Trump made it clear we will leave no one behind. The first mission, the first of two, was an audacious daylight thunder run right up the middle. It was authorized in less than 2 hours from that pilot going down when we knew where he was. And it was authorized in the middle of the night, because anybody that's worked for this man knows he's up in the middle of the night. Authorized immediately, without hesitation, audaciously. The second mission, as soon as we knew where that pilot was, and John was certainly helpful in that, also executed immediately. You know, I looked up at my screen when the final mission was complete inside our SCIF, our secure facility. And we have a running VTC, a running coordination cell. And the top of it read 45 minutes and 45 hours and 56 minutes. For 45 hours and 56 minutes, we held that call open for coordination. From the moment our pilots went down, our mission was unblinking. The call never dropped, the meeting never stopped, the planning never ceased. The president demanded rapid, decisive action. He backed our military with the full weight of his resolve, refusing to let enemy propaganda or tactical setbacks deter us. His leadership ensured that every lethal and non-lethal resource was brought to bear, that our forces had the authorities and the support they needed to succeed. When the president says he has the backs of our warfighters, he means it. And it means a great deal, and it's a big difference on the battlefield. President Trump understands that peace through strength is not a slogan. It is a doctrine that saves American lives. His unwavering commitment to rebuilding our military and restoring the warrior spirit has paid dividends in missions just like this one. Under his command, America projects power with confidence and brings our people home with victory. And that continues today, by the way. Per the president's direction, today will be the largest volume of strikes since day one of this operation. Tomorrow, even more than today. And then Iran has a choice. Choose wisely, because this president does not play around. You can ask Soleimani, you can ask Maduro, you can ask Khomeini. To those heroes who planned and executed these rescues, your nation stands in awe. I stand in awe. The chairman stands in awe. We all stand in awe of your professionalism and bravery. We serve for you. You embody the very best of America. To the rescued airmen and their families, welcome home. Your courage and endurance, the quiet declaration of faith amid the storm, inspires us all. God is good every day. And to our adversaries watching from Tehran, let this be a clear message. The United States military will go anywhere, at any time, to protect our own and complete the mission. We execute with precision. We control the skies. You see, we flew for 7 hours in daylight over Iran to get the first pilot. And we flew 7 hours in the middle of the night to get the second. And Iran did nothing about it. We fight with honor, and under President Trump's leadership, we win. So God bless our troops, God bless President Trump, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone.
Loser. Slacker.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. A note before I start, I know many of you want specific details in these briefings. We will share what we can, but I will retain what I must in the event that we have to go do this again sometime. And I cannot stress the importance, as the president said, around operational security. The secretary and I will do a more detailed briefing tomorrow morning, and we look forward to sharing the details that we can. On Thursday, 2 April at 10:10 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:40 in the morning, local Iran time, the Joint Personnel Recovery Center, which handles the Central Command area of responsibility, declared an isolated personnel recovery event for a U.S. Air Force F-15E Strike Eagle, call sign Dude 44, which was down in hostile Iranian territory. The pilot and weapons system officer had both safely ejected and were isolated behind enemy lines. Following confirmation of active rescue beacons and on the direction of the Secretary and by order of the President, a rescue operation was launched with the stated purpose of bringing both Americans home safely. As the Secretary said, several hours later on the morning after positively locating the front seater, call sign Dude 44 Alpha, and aware of an aggressive ongoing search by the enemy, a U.S. Central Command plan was approved by the Secretary and the President. Shortly thereafter, a U.S. Air Force Combat Search and Rescue Task Force, comprised of A-10 Warthogs in their Sandy role, and I'll describe what that is in a minute, HC-130 Combat King 2s, HH-60 Jolly Green 2 helicopters, and Air Force Special Warfare Airmen, a package comprised of combat rescue officers and pararescueman operators, audaciously penetrated enemy territory in broad daylight to find, fix, and recover Dude 44 Alpha from behind enemy lines. This was an incredibly dangerous mission, an incredibly dangerous undertaking, but a filled promise made to every American warfighter that you will not be left behind. We will always come find you, and we will always bring you home. Over the next hours, the Search and Rescue Task Force crossed the beach, entered into Iranian airspace, protected by a fighter strike package, and moved into the objective area, all under fire. En route, as some of you have seen on social media, the helicopters took gas off the C-130s and pressed onward and forward up into the objective area. While this was ongoing, and out in front of them, the Sandy flight of A-10s and other remotely piloted aircraft, drones, and other tactical aircraft were violently suppressing and engaging the enemy in a close-in gunfight to keep them away from the front seater and allow the pickup force to get into the objective area. During this engagement, one of the Sandy aircraft, the one primarily responsible for communicating with the downed pilot, was hit by enemy fire. This pilot continued to fight, continued the mission, and then upon exit, flew his aircraft into another country and determined that the airplane was not landable. This was one of our A-10 Sandy aircraft. The pilot then made the decision to eject over friendly territory and was quickly and safely recovered and is doing fine. After picking up Dude 44 Alpha, the HH-60 Jolly Green fight was engaged by every single person in Iran who had a small arms weapon. And one of the aircraft, the trailing aircraft, took several hits. The crew sustained minor injury, and they are going to be fine. A note for those of you that do not know what a Sandy does. Named after the flight call sign that did this very mission in Vietnam, flying A-1 Sky Raiders and A-7 Corsairs, a Sandy has one mission: get to the survivor, bring the rescue force forward, and put themselves between that survivor on the ground and the enemy. They are committed to this. This is what they live for, and this is what they've trained for over many, many years. The A-10 force and the rescue force did a fantastic job rescuing
Democrats
Dude
and the
44
Republicans are
Alpha.
Epstein supporters.
He was recovered Friday afternoon. As I said, and the nation needs to know this, this was an incredibly brave and courageous mission, and a testament to the courage, skill, and tenacity of the joint force and our leaders. And especially a daylight option, having the guts to try, means so much to so many. Meanwhile, the backseater, as the president and the secretary have said, had continued to work and survive. Through the hours of daylight, Dude 44 Bravo, the backseater, evaded. Using every means available, the efforts of the United States military, the Central Intelligence Agency, and others were attempting to find and locate with precision Dude 44 Bravo, the backseater. A note on the backseater and the front seater. The single most important contributor to a successful rescue operation is the spirit of attack inside the heart of that downed aviator. Their will to survive, their will to evade, their will to recover is everything. In this case, the backseater's absolute commitment to surviving made much of our efforts possible. On Saturday, 4 April, after establishing positive communications with the backseater, we learned, as the president said, that he was injured and actively evading enemy forces. And thanks to our interagency partners, we were able to get eyes on his location and positively ID him. Throughout this entire time, the enemy force continued to search for 4-4 Bravo, and the joint force continued to strike them over and over and over again. Fighting off marginal weather in Iran and the enemy's search for a second time on Saturday, at the recommendation of the CENTCOM commander and at the approval of the Secretary and the President, we launched a rescue task force to recover Dude 4-4 Bravo. Again, this came to the President and the Secretary for approval, this time with a much larger force package based on the time that the enemy had to prepare to find 4-4 Bravo. Again, this force was protected by A-10 Warthogs using the Sandy call sign. And this force had one single mission: do everything they can to bring an American home. This meant having a plan, being prepared to execute that plan, and more importantly, being prepared for multiple simultaneous contingencies. And because of this force's professionalism, grit, and determination, fight off two enemies at the same time: the enemy searching for 4-4 Bravo and contingencies, which anyone who has done these types of missions knows we run into every single time. The force fought off both of those enemies incredibly well. During the period of darkness on Saturday, and as the Secretary said, into Easter Sunday and into the daylight, the force fought its way in and rescued Dude 4-4 Bravo. They were protected overhead by an air armada, including tactical drones, strike aircraft, and others. The force fought through multiple simultaneous contingencies, something no...
Yeah, you notice the Trump supporters that be coming in here, boy, they be real quiet when they see us put that background up with Trump with Epstein. But when we post the one with him getting arrested, they be on our backs, boy. They be talking all types of shit. But when we pull up the one with him next to Epstein, they be quiet as shit. That's funny as hell.
No other nation, no other military can do. And safely return Dude 4-4 Bravo, the backseater, home. And all other Americans home as well. At midnight 12 local Eastern time, Easter Sunday, more than 50 hours after the start of this operation, the Joint Personnel Recovery Center declared Dude 4-4 Bravo, both the front and backseater, returned to friendly territory. The courage demonstrated by both the pilot and the weapons system officer while isolated and them invading the enemy cannot be overstated. Their grit and warfighting tenacity is a direct result of the absolute trust they have in our rescue forces, their training, and their will to survive and return. They always knew that we would be ordered to go get them, and they always knew that we would be coming to get them. These two operations reflect our nation's most sacred obligation to our military service members. We leave no one behind, bless you. It also perfectly captures the first truth of our special operations forces, that people are more important than hardware. That is the standard we live by, and the rescue forces that execute these missions operate under a clear motto: these things we do that others may live. Their actions were a direct embodiment of that commitment to others, and I could not be more proud of each and every one of them today. As the Secretary said to our enemies, this operation serves as a clear reminder of the capability and will of America's joint force. The United States of America will recover our warfighters anywhere in the world, under any conditions, when we want to. We will always bring overwhelming skill and firepower. To every member of the joint force, our interagency partners, the leadership at CENTCOM, and our leaders at the department and above, thank you. I'm proud of each and every one of you and thankful to our deployed forces and their families. And lastly, and most importantly, to Dude 4-4, welcome home. Job well done. Thank you.
Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. And these two gentlemen have been From day one, they've been perfecto. I got to know General Kane in my first term because he was able to take out ISIS in 4 weeks instead of the 4-year projection that was given to me by other much lesser generals. I said, if I ever do this again, that's going to be the head of my Joint Chiefs of Staff. And we worked it that way, didn't we? He's amazing. He took out ISIS. We defeated ISIS in 4 weeks. I was told it would take 4 years. I flew to Iraq to find out with the greatest equipment in the world, why would it take 4 years? And he told me, sir, it won't. It'll take 4 weeks and you'll have time left over. And that's exactly what happened. So he's great. And Pete, all I can say is that he was treated very unfairly. And now those same people that treated him unfairly, that fought against him, they called me up saying, what a great choice he was. They said, well, what happened during his nomination? What happened to you? I'm telling you, people that were not for him, senators, friends of mine, sir, I don't think you're doing the right thing. Now they're calling me up. What a choice. These two guys are fantastic. And John Ratcliffe was incredible. It was actually their genius that called us from, it was 40 miles away. And he said, we're seeing something moving up in the mountain. This is at night. And they kept the camera on him for 45 minutes. He wasn't moving. And they said, probably wrong, but we're seeing something moving. This is a vast mountain, vast, thick, with bushes, trees. He said, we see something moving 40 miles away. It was the head of a human being. I'm telling you, it's moving. And then all of a sudden, 45 minutes later, he moved a lot, stood up. And they said, we have him. And that was really the beginning of something incredible. We had an idea where he was, but not specifically. And it's a big mountain. So I want to thank the CIA, too. I don't think they get enough credit for the great job they've done. Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for this great opportunity. Country, it has super army. You make a difference, Mr. President. Thank you for your greatest leadership.
Thank you.
I have 2 quick questions, Mr. President. What was your reaction when you learned that Kurdistan region had resumed exporting oil to the international market with your support as United States of America?
Well, I expected that. We've gotten along with the Kurds for a long time, so I expected that.
Another question, what would be your reaction if the Iranian people rise up against their regime during a ceasefire, Mr. President?
Well, they should do it. But again, the consequences are great. I mean, they were told if you protest, you will be shot immediately. You saw what happened to the young wrestler. He was a great champion, by the way. He was a great wrestler, one of the top in the world. And he and his 2 friends were hung. And all they did was say a little bit about liberty. They wanted liberty, and they were violently executed. But the number is up to probably 45,000 people were killed. So, when somebody stays in a house, when they know if they walk out of the house to protest, they'll be immediately shot and killed. And they issued that, that was publicly issued. It's not a secret. That's why so many people say, oh, well, why are you doing this way? We can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. We got regime change. We're dealing with a much different regime than before. We're dealing with different people. They're smarter. I think they're sharper and far less radical. We have regime change, but we didn't do this for regime change. We did it for the fact, and my view was very simple. I saw somebody said, oh, he doesn't have a plan. I have the best plan of all, but I'm not going to tell you what my plan is. They want me to say, here's my plan. We're going to attack at 9:47 in the morning, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to, and if you don't do that, they say, I have a plan.
Yeah, y'all be loving some Trump and some goddamn Bill Clinton and all them motherfuckers, and they was in the Epstein files. They was in the Epstein files, y'all remember. These motherfuckers y'all love and support Israel. That's who Epstein was working for. Let's not forget. Let's act like we got some sense, y'all. I see y'all little Trump supporters in here, y'all Democratic supporters in here. y'all Republican supporters in here, let's not forget. They both was on the Epstein. They both was in the Epstein files. They both was friends with Epstein, close friends with Epstein. Party with him, had him at the White House, had him over there at Mar-a-Lago. Let's not forget. Y'all support. And they work for Israel. They work for the Rothschilds. They work for the Rockefellers. They work for the central banks. Yeah, so I know y'all like to support y'all favorite politician, but I'm
love Trump. They love Trump.
Files. They was in
love
the
Trump,
files, y'all. They was messing with girls right along with Epstein and Ghislaine. They was over there partying with Ghislaine and Epstein. Sorry. You said night and day are ignorant. Sorry, Slick Nick, but it's already came out. If you've seen the Epstein files, you know everybody's in. They was all in there. Sorry to tell you that, but
I want to hear what makes us ignorant, though. People say this stuff, and I want to know what makes us ignorant.
Yeah, what we saying is the truth. So
what makes us ignorant? Yeah, call me ignorant. How could you do such a thing?
Hey, partying with Epstein. Y'all seen the party? He was up over there with Mar-a-Lago. Had Epstein at Mar-a-Lago over there partying, looking at little young girls, 16 and 16. Some of them younger, some of them 13. Yeah. Yeah, remember he was the peace president. Remember he said, well, yeah, we ain't no war with Iran and all that. What are you over there doing now? He said, can you block Medusa? Medusa be having your finger on that trigger. If you want to block him, get them up out of here.
Nah, people can disagree with us, though.
Yeah, no, they could disagree.
When they start name calling, you can get them up out of
here.
here.
Yeah, if they start name calling Medusa, then you can get them up out of here. But if they disagree, they can disagree.
Yeah, people can disagree.
I like.
They don't really have nothing to say.
I like people who disagree,
but they don't never say nothing though. They just say, "Oh, y'all ignorant. Y'all don't know how great Trump is." All right, what did he do? He's great. Like, what did he do? He's a good president. Like, those are the type answers we get. And you're just stupid. You're a moron. He's a great president. And there's can't tell us one thing that he or any other president that stepped through that Oval Office did for the American people.
I don't give a shit how great you think he is. He was with Epstein, so I don't fuck how great you think he is. He was over there with the pedophile sex trafficker Epstein.
And he knew exactly
what ain't do shit about it. So
and he knew what Epstein was doing. Because to tell you the truth, Trump know about what all the players in that game. He know what they do. Trump ain't gonna be in the same room with somebody he don't know what they do.
Yeah, because you ain't going. First of all, if you at a certain status, you're gonna watch everybody that's around you. You're not gonna just let anybody around you. You don't know who's who. You can't just trust a motherfucker being around you. That same thing
Trump
with
knows everybody's business though, and that's another thing. Trump knows everybody's business.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the mafia. Friend of ours, friend of mine, friend of ours. That they keep the same tradition going. You just can't go around the mafia and just be anybody. You gotta check out. They gotta make sure you are who you say you are. You gotta check out. So you just can't just go around any criminal and just hang around them and not know who the fuck they are. That's not gonna happen. Trump just is not gonna have just anybody around him. So he knew exactly who Epstein was. He knew exactly who Epstein was. So let's just act like we got some sense here. Let's act like we got some sense here. You don't even want a motherfucker around you. You don't know. If you're a person in the chat, you don't want a motherfucker around you that you don't know. You're not hanging out with just any goddamn body. You're not gonna be in a room with just any goddamn body. You gotta know who that person is. You gotta know your surroundings at all costs. Like, you don't know who the fuck that person is. So like we said, Trump knew exactly who he was. Bill Clinton knew exactly who he was. And the rest of them goddamn people that was up there, Bushes, the Clintons, the Obamas, the Reagans. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he was around during Nixon time, but the Reagans, the Bushes, the Clintons, the Obamas, the Trumps, the Bidens, they all knew who the fuck Jeffrey Epstein was. But they couldn't do nothing about it because he worked for Israel. And they all work for Israel. They all support Israel. So stop acting ignorant, y'all. Stop acting like y'all don't know what the fuck going on, man. So I don't care how great you think Trump is, he still was up there with Epstein, supporting the sex trafficking shit. So I don't care how great you think he is. Let's continue though. Let's hear the lies this guy spewts out his mouth.
These people know what the plan is. Everybody.
And not only that, you gotta remember he's got federal. He's a federal fucking criminal. He got like 17 federal charges against him. First president ever had federal charges against him. So they all criminals, but he the only one got, you know, federal charges and shit. But they all criminals. Every last one of them criminals. They all work for this criminal organization. They all support people like Epstein, because you gotta think about it. There's some more Epsteins out here. There's a gang of Epsteins out here, and they all still work with these motherfuckers. So let's stop acting like we ignorant. All right.
Here knows what the plan is, but it's very unfair to say because I don't mind being insulted. I've been insulted for many years by the fake news, but you can't. It's so bad for the people that are so you just saw two great and John Ratcliffe, three unbelievable people.
Yeah, Angela Barr, you doing business with those people.
Every single.
I hear what you're saying. Apparently, you don't pop out much because I have met all kinds of people at work. Yeah, but do you do business with these people? Just meeting them. Because he claimed that a business deal fell through. That's why he fell out with Epstein. That's what came out of Trump's own mouth. He said a business deal that didn't fall through, and that's why they fell out. So you can miss me with that whole I worked with all type and party with all types of motherfuckers. You can miss me with that shit. Did you do business with them? Big business with them? No. You're not just doing business with anybody. So let's just get that shit out. Let's rule that shit out right now, what you just said. That don't mean shit. Trump actually partied with this man, did business with this man, flew all around the world with this man. He's on the Epstein fucking flight list over a dozen times. Are you flying all around the world with these motherfuckers you're just meeting and partying with, Angelo? Hell no.
Thing has been thought out by all of us, but I can't reveal the plan to the media. So, you know, but we're just thrilled by the success of this operation. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. You said Iranians would be mad if you stopped these attacks, but why would they want you to blow up their infrastructure, to cut off their power? Wouldn't that be punishing Iranians for the actions of the regime?
They would be willing to, and it's suffering. They would be willing to suffer that in order to have freedom. The Iranians have, and we've had numerous intercepts. Please keep bombing. Bombs that are dropping near their homes. Please keep bombing. Do it. And these are people that are living where the bombs are exploding. And when we leave and we're not hitting those areas, they're saying, please come back, come back, come back. These are the people. I don't know what they do. All I can tell you is they want freedom. They have lived in a world that you know nothing about. It's a violent, horrible world where if you
hear this fucking hypocrite, he said they live in a violent fucking world. Motherfucker, you was friends with Epstein. If that ain't violent in a fucking world enough for us, I don't know what the fuck we talking about. You see the hypocritical shit that fly out of these politicians' mouths? They're always trying to point out how another country is evil and this person is evil. Have we looked at America? We're talking about evil. Didn't we just all see the Epstein files get released? Ain't it all types of heads of corporations and people from other countries in that motherfucker talking about sex trafficking and and all types of shit in the Epstein files. What is this guy talking about? You was very close friends with this guy Epstein. What the fuck is he talking about? It'd be the projection and the hypocrite. Come on, man.
Protest, you are shot.
This motherfucker supporting. These motherfuckers supporting Israel. They're supporting Israel right now. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? Come on now.
Remember the great woman protests where they had 400,000, 500,000 women, and they were all enthused and they were going to protest, and everybody said, oh, the regime's going to come to an end. And then all of a sudden, boom, boom, 5, 6 different areas. A woman would go down right between the eyes. They had snipers. They had 5 snipers. That's all it took. And those 4 or 5.
Oh, so you bragging about that. You happy that, you know. Listen, man, listen. It's motherfuckers gonna get exactly what they deserve. Let's just call it what it
100,000
is.
women said, oh my God, what's that? Oh, look over there. What's that? A woman shot right between the eyes. And after 5 or 6 of them go down, then you start hearing the purr through the vast number of people. And then they said, oh my God, who would do that? And they're incredible people, but they've lived so horribly. They've lived so horribly. You know, Iran was a great country if you go back 25 years ago or so. The Persian people, they're incredible.
He full of shit. He said, hold on, y'all. He just said 25 years ago, Iran was a good country. That's what he said 25 years ago. Let's go back to Trump 30-something years ago. It'd be the hypocrite shit for me. That's why I say these motherfuckers, these politicians are bait and switch the shit out y'all real quick. The old bait and switch. He said Iran was a great country 25 years ago, right? Okay. Let's hear what you said. Let's hear what you said 30 years ago. The kid.
And take over some of their oil, which is along the sea. How would you do that? Would you send in the Marines? Would you take a chance in the war? Let them have Iran. You take their oil. That's what How? How? I mean, do we want a war? What do you mean we take their oil? You go in. How do we go in? You're going to have a war by being weak. Okay, how do we go in? What do we do? Excuse me. Yeah. You're going to have a war, and it's going to start in the Middle East. What if the Soviet Union said, you do this to Iran, we're going to come in? I don't believe they'd do it. The next time Iran attacks this country, go in and grab one of their big oil installations. And I mean grab it and keep it and get back your losses, because this country has lost plenty because of Iran.
It's just more scripted stuff, y'all. That's it. It's all scripted. All of it is scripted. It's all scripted. Put on one big show. You're going to the show.
Smart, brilliant, actually. And I know so many. I know coming from New York, originally, I know so many people from Iran. They're incredible people, incredible energy, and very, very brilliant people. But when you're standing in a group and protesting, and you have a woman, in the case of the woman, remember the Great Woman March? Everybody was saying, "Oh, this is the end of the country." And then snipers, selectively picked, every single one was shot right between the eyes from a long distance. They were on top of buildings. Nobody even knew where they were. Where they coming from? This wasn't like a machine gun, which is also very bad. They've done that too. They did that recently. This was snipers sitting on the top of buildings, aiming and hitting women. And when they see people go down, and all of a sudden there's a riot in the reverse direction, and they never came out again. And a lot of the news doesn't talk about that. They talk about, oh, women's rights. You want to see women's rights? You're not going to see it there. It's amazing when I see some of the stupid people like, AOC +3, all that group. They talk about, oh, freedom for Iran. They don't tell you the real facts. Women, men, gays. How about gays for Iran? They kill the gays. They throw them off buildings. So I wonder what's going on. I can only say this. They want us to keep bombing, even if it jeopardizes, because their life is in much greater danger. They want freedom for Iran, but it's very hard for them to protest. I actually tell them, I said, don't go out. I fully understand. Nobody in this room would go out. I don't think there's any, because frankly, it's not a question of bravery. We're all brave, right? You're brave, I'm brave, we're all brave. But we're also intelligent. If you have people shooting at you, expert shots with the best rifles you can get, and hitting you right between the eyes every single time, and you're looking here and you're seeing and you're looking here, you're out of there. I don't care who it is.
Mark Meredith, Fox News.
I know that.
Oh, thank you.
How would I know that?
Go ahead. America's
What's
Watch.
wrong? Donald Trump's team.
Can we go back to the weekend? First off, was everyone on board with the operation, or were there people that were trying to talk you out of going through
Donald
the
Trump's team.
Not everybody was on.
Somebody else within
No,
you?
there was military people, very professional, that preferred not doing it. These two were totally on board, which was very important. If they weren't, I would have had a little difficulty. But no, there were military people that said, you just don't do this. You don't go into the heart of a very powerful military. You know, this is, hey, you have countries and countries. You have some countries where military is not their strong suit. This whole thing is militarized like nobody's ever seen before. Half the people are wearing uniforms. And we had people within the military. Usually it's not done. That's one of the reasons. You know, I was surprised. Somebody said it's the only time it's ever been done. I said, that's not possible. But it is possible, because you're going into hundreds of thousands of soldiers along the path. I mean, look at some of the helicopters, how they got hit. So, yeah, there were people within the military that said it's a wise. And don't forget, how many men did you send altogether, approximately, for the operation?
I'd love to keep that a secret.
Okay, well, we are. But I will tell you, the number, I'll keep it a secret, but it was hundreds and hundreds of these people. It's pretty good. Is he central casting? But hundreds of people went into this journey. Hundreds of people could have been killed. Forget about the equipment, a lot of equipment, nobody cares. Hundreds of people could have been killed. So we had people that were within the military that said this is not a wise, and I understood that, but I decided to do it.
Was there a point that that you were thinking there's too much on the line, and somebody was saying maybe we abort this now and wait? I mean, given the resource, like the general said, it seemed like there was so much on the line here. You must have been thinking, well, this could have completely changed.
So the first one, which was in many ways as dangerous as the second, I guess it gets, because we're flying over daylight. You know, we're the best at the world at night. We have goggles that nobody, we have goggles. I've tried them. They're unbelievable. I see better with the goggles at night than I see without them during daylight. I mean, daylight today, we have a beautiful day.
Low ass hands.
You see just as well with goggles. In many ways, it's
enhanced. My goggles.
So we have the best in the world. So it's much safer for us to do it at night, whereas other people, no other country has that capability. They don't have that particular piece of equipment like we do. But when I was told flying and in daylight, I think we flew 7 hours over Iran, and that's a long time, over unbelievably hostile territory. They have nothing but weapons. We took out their anti-aircraft, which is great. We took out their radar, which is great. We took out a lot, but they still have, you know, what hit this one was a handheld shoulder missile, heat-seeking missile. So it's not like, you know, they're totally whatever. And they have probably a little luck, because you got to get lucky. But they shot it, and it got sucked in right by the engine. But these guys were out of there. They were great. Their timing was great. But no, I was told that this is a very dangerous mission. I understand. They didn't say it's a foolish mission. They said, you know, we're going to be sacrificing hundreds of people do this. This is, I mean, you have tankers that are flying over this area so that because the flight was so long, they had to refuel. It's a very dangerous mission. I just felt it was worth it. If you would have told me that we would have been successful, gotten both, and nobody was even essentially injured, I would have said that would be impossible. Yeah, Bruce.
Mr. President, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
We'll come back to you.
Okay.
Given that you are now dealing, you say, with a more reasonable, less extreme leadership in Iran, What does that mean for the protesters, for the human rights movement in that country after this conflict?
Well, I
What's
think
your
positive.
expectation?
Yeah, if they assume control, if we do something and they assume control, I think it's very positive, a big step. I don't think you'd see the radicalization that you have seen in the last. Look what happened. I mean, women are being executed because they're not properly clothed, they say. They're not properly clothed, and they execute the women. They shoot them right on the street. No, you have a much different group of people. Now, I'm not saying we are dealing with them. Essentially, they have till 8 o'clock tomorrow night, Eastern time. But we are dealing with them. I think it's going well. Mr. Witkoff is here, and JD's involved in the dealing. Mr. Witkoff is sitting right here, and I think it's going fine, but we'll have to see. You have to understand, we've been dealing with these people for 47 years. I'm standing here with a much more powerful Iran as of a month ago, not anymore. Right now, they are decapitated. But I'm standing here a month ago with a much more powerful Iran than it was at any point during 47 years. This should have been handled by 7 presidents, a lot of presidents. And those presidents are saying now, every one of them to their friends, we should have done this a long time ago. So it's not something I like doing. It's very dangerous. And we're getting them at the height of their strength. If I didn't terminate the Barack Hussein Obama Iran nuclear deal, they would have had don't forget, that was a path to a nuclear weapon. Remember this. He chose Iran over Israel, pure and simple. How Israel can vote for a Democrat is if you're Jewish in New York City or any place else in this country, and how you can vote for a Democrat is unbelievable, because he chose Iran, a very hostile Iran. Remember when he filled up a 757 with cash, billions of dollars of cash, and he sent it over to them. Then they gave them tens of billions of dollars. He chose Iran over Israel and really the Arab world, if you look, because, the other, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, I mean, you take a look. I mean, I can add Kuwait and I can add Bahrain, and you can add others. He chose such an unlikely candidate. Nobody could believe it. Frankly, if you're going to choose between Iraq and Iran, he should have befriended Iraq. He went in the exact opposite direction of all thinking, and he made a terrible mistake. But that was a road to a nuclear weapon. And when I terminated that, everyone said, oh, he terminated it. It was one of the best things we ever did because he had a road to a nuclear weapon. And it was a very short-term deal. Countries don't do 10-year deals. Countries do hundreds of years.
This guy just up there bullshitting, lying, putting on a whole show. Y'all know goddamn well he up there just bullshitting us, playing in American citizens' face with this bullshit, puffing himself up, lying, acting like he really running shit, and but he not.
They all do it. All the presidents do it. All of them, no matter Democrat, Republican, no matter who, they all do that. The same shit.
All right, he up there.
All scripted.
All right, shit, he up there scripted like a oh, he up there just fluff, just a whole bunch of fluff. Y'all know he up there just fluffing around.
You don't do a 10-year deal. For a country, this isn't, you're a landlord and you're renting a store on a certain street and you give somebody a 5-year or 10-year lease. This is a country. It was a short-term deal. It was ready to expire. I terminated it before it expired. It took a lot of heat, and it was one of the best things I ever did because he would have had a nuclear weapon. Then he would have had another.
They all work for Israel, so what the fuck are we talking about at the end of the day? Do these people really care about American citizens, or are they up there working for Israel and the central banks and the corporations? Because they really gave a fuck about American citizens, they wouldn't be sending our tax dollars to other countries and making us foot the bill. They really give a fuck about us, they would have took all the poisons out the food like all the other countries did. But they just approving them for more laboratory grown meats FDA, USDA, and the EPA always improving them to put chemicals in the food. If they really gave a fuck about us, they wouldn't be spraying the fucking air with chemicals. But no, our government loves us. Yes, they love us, but they won't get rid of the fucking poisons out the food. All the other countries ban this shit, but we the only ones when they keep poison in the food. Okay. But they love you. They love you. You're doing a good job. Yeah, make America great again. Yeah. Making America great again is getting all the poisons out the fucking food. Let's go back to when this country didn't have industrialized mass-produced products with chemicals in it. That's when America was great. Or let's just go back to when the Native Americans was occupying this. That's when America was great. When tribes was trading amongst each other. Yeah, of course they had their own, wars and shit like that, but it ain't the shit we got now. So what America is he making great again? Because making America great again is getting all the poisons out the fucking food. Making America again is not funding all this money and giving it to Ukraine and Israel and making us foot the bill for it. That's not a make America great again. That's making America poor. That's making Americans homeless. He's making America poor. He's not making it
all we want to do is argue amongst each other to say who's better, Biden or Trump or Kamala. That's all we do. We argue amongst each other while both parties is destroying the country.
Right.
Man,
Not
already, man.
yeah,
This video.
Yeah, please like this video.
Y'all can support us at nightandayherbals.com. We sell our own herbal products. So make sure y'all check us out over there.
Smaller businesses. That's what we need to get back to. Making America great again is actually supporting our smaller businesses and not all these goddamn corporations. Why are you not uplifting the middle the businesses of America, the moms and pop shops? Why these businesses not thriving, but the corporations are? Why is all the mom and pop stores being closed down because they can't afford? Why all the farmers are being shut down?
Because they want to replace them with artificial meat printers.
Which
they want to build factories. Right. They want to build factories printing up fake meat so they can control the food supply indefinitely.
Which the FDA just approved Bill Gates laboratory grown meat. So what America is he making great again? It seemed like he's just making corporations great. I wish that was true, but when you come here and make a statement like that, you got to really analyze that statement. And you're saying he's making America great again, but they're not getting the poisons out the food ASAP. Like you would think that would be damn, we can't even have clean food in this country, clean products, clean meats, clean vegetables. That's crazy. But they really care about the people? We can't even have that at least. Clean foods, clean meats, clean products. We can't even have that at least. But they taking all our money and funding in all these countries and going to war and going to space. The fuck you going to space for? Is any clean food up there? Are we getting anything out of space? Is anything helping us with them going to space? How is that helping American citizens right now? Y'all let me know in the comments. Y'all let us know in the comments below. Them going up into space, spending billions of dollars is helping America all right now. Y'all let us know. He said there were people up there. Oh yeah, that's right. They left the people up there that was recording the launch. Yeah, I forgot they left the old cameraman up there that seen the last liftoff, launching back off the moon. They left them guys up there. I forgot they had to go back and get the old camera crew. They had to go back and get the old camera crew they left up there. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot they gotta go save the old camera crew they left up there. Right, right. Oh man, we are fucking doomed. We are doomed. Oh man, oh man. Man, listen, we don't support none of them politicians. I'm sorry. And nobody in that sitting in that White House seat is really for the American people. And we all should know that by now. I mean, the one that tried to be got assassinated. He didn't want to support Israel. JFK didn't want to support Israel. He didn't want to go to Vietnam. He didn't want to do none of that shit. And he had to suffer the consequences behind that. Matter of fact, we're gonna do a whole nother live stream just on JFK and what he didn't support and the reason why he's, they had to let him go, because we gonna get into that, because he didn't support none of this shit. So that's the demonstration of somebody that tried to be for the people and get taken out. So if they ain't getting nothing happening to them, then they ain't really for the people, because ain't nothing happening to them. Nothing. What's happening to them? Nothing. Yeah, tell them, man. People that try to do something for the people ain't they not here anymore. They got rid of JFK and his brother Bobby. Yeah.
I think no more people can be like it's either like you far gone now, you never coming back, or you already woke up to this.
Right.
After the not after 9/11, after the COVID shit.
COVID shit.
I feel like there's no more like you can say to people for them to see the truth, because the truth is all around us.
Yeah.
The truth is in plain sight. The United States government, no government really cares about its people.
Right.
We've seen that time and time again. You can go all the way back to history and read all the way up to now, and you'll see who killed the most people, who traffics the most people, it's the governments. It's literally the governments. And in 2026, it's the United States government and Israeli government. The two most wickedest governments on the planet right now. And the thing is, if most people can't see the corruption, they'll never see it.
Right.
They're going to keep trying to justify why we in Iran right now.
Right.
Or why the fuck we launched to the moon. Like there's no
right.
We launched to the moon and we're $40 trillion in debt.
Well, we know that they just trying to distract as much as they can from the Epstein files. Of course, they got to keep covering that up.
Yeah, so I mean, if people don't see it by now, then they'll never see it. I think everybody's pretty much where they gonna be at when it's
right. Facts. Right.
Because there's no way that anybody could defend any politician right now. Like, there's no politician right now that can be defend. Like, they're all no good.
Right.
If people still talking that lesser evil shit, they in the old earth. They on old earth. They ain't even you know, just completely erase them out of your mind. If they talking about lesser evil, oh, you gotta vote. If you better vote, just vote for the lesser evil. If you saying that shit, man, you completely lost. You're done. Like it's finished. It's finished. Because if you don't see that both sides, there's no lesser evil anymore. If you don't see the wickedness of both sides, then you're done. You're done. There's no saving you from that mindset.
Yeah, let the chips basically fall where they may.
Yep. Yep.
And then you know, because the line is already being drawn in the sand anyway. So
Facts. Yeah,
wherever
it's a
you
done
fall,
deal.
wherever you fall in place at, that's just where you fall in place at. Right. Yeah, we appreciate y'all tuning in though, man. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. You know, click on all notifications for when we go live. Yeah, I do want to get into that JFK live stream because it does align with this shit. Because JFK didn't support none of this shit. He ain't want to support Israel and the shit they was doing. He ain't want to support the Vietnam War. He ain't want to do none of that shit. And he ain't want the, you know, the printing money out of thin air shit. Like he was going after the federal banks and all that shit because he felt like and he said he was opposed to secret societies. Even though his family is from that, but he wanted to basically do away with all that shit. Because it didn't mean nobody no good. It wasn't benefiting American citizens.
Right.
None of that shit was benefiting American citizens. Them going into Vietnam and all this shit they was doing around it didn't benefit America at all. So yeah, we want to do a deep dive into that. And I want to probably do the Prodigy live stream too. I want to dive back into that shit. There's a couple things, man. But if y'all interested in the content because we could be talking about some bullshit right now, but you know, we gotta stick to, you know, what matters. So if you haven't, make sure you subscribe, click on all notifications, share this live stream if you want, if you can. And shit, we appreciate y'all tuning in.
Definitely.
Yeah, right, Richard. Yeah, the tariffs don't help. The tariffs don't help mom and pop shops at all, right? It's just only, it's only. Trust me, we know because we a small family business, so we know how that shit's really affected. Well, it ain't really affect us too much because we make our products, and we work with people that make their own products, so it really didn't affect us as much because we didn't, you know, wasn't
Because we
getting
don't depend on China.
Yeah, like we wasn't getting nothing from China, so all our stuff is made here in America by us and by other, you know, other people. So
that's why it's so much high quality. Right. Our herbs are grown here in Pennsylvania.
And we pull up our shops. We pull up our shops so y'all can see what we talking about.
All the herbs that we use in our products are grown here in the United States, specifically in Pennsylvania. So we don't get herbs and stuff from China. No. So when you shopping with nightandayherbals.com, no, you getting high quality local herbs.
Facts. Yes, indeed.
Again, that's nightandayherbals.com. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. It's also going to be in the description of this video. You can also get there with the QR code that's on the top of the screen.
QR code in the corner, right?
Yep.
Top right is the QR code. Let me pull this down real quick. Yes,
we
indeed.
definitely appreciate all of y'all who've been supporting us, who've been buying from the shop. We definitely we shipped a lot of y'all packages out. Y'all should be getting them definitely this week. We shipped a bunch of packages out last week before the holidays.
Right.
So y'all should probably be getting them either today or tomorrow, probably. So we want to thank all of y'all who've been supporting us, man. Y'all know we've been at this for what, 7 years now?
Yeah, 7. Yeah.
People swear by our products. You know, we got the hair care and skin care product. You see, we got the soaps and the body oils, all natural, made with natural herbs and natural material. Make sure y'all check out the CBD. We got all CBD in all types of forms. CBD herbal cigarettes, CBD pre-rolls. We got CBD bombs. And all of our CBD is grown organically without any, chemicals or anything like that.
Yeah, we don't do chemical shit.
So just know you're getting high quality product.
Yes, indeed. Appreciate y'all, man, tuning in. Yeah, and on that note, man, I guess anything else?
Nope, that'd be it, man.
Yeah.
Share this video, like and share this video. And if you just now subscribing, make sure you click the notification bell.
Thanks. Yeah, click on all notifications, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely appreciate y'all, man. On that note, we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Catch you on the next live.
I'm not even gonna lie. The joint pain I deal with every day will slow me all the way down. But ever since I started using this right here, night and day pain relief balm, everything changed. And within minutes, I feel the difference. Like real relief. Now I can clean my whole house without even thinking about the pain. As a nurse, I'm on my feet all day. And this right here helps me get through my entire shift. I can actually enjoy time with my kids now. Go outside, be active, without hurting the whole time. Feels good to just live again. Honestly, if it wasn't for night and day pain relief balm, I don't think I'd have the quality of life I have right now.
Discomfort slows you down. Reach for natural relief. Night and Day Hemp's extra strength CBD pain relief balm melts into aching muscles, delivering warmth you can feel. Soothe your body naturally. Feel free to move again. Night and Day Hemp balm melts away tension so you can enjoy every moment. Feel the difference fast. Real relief, real results. Order now at Night and Day Herbals.